Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor.
Hello and welcome. This is eRacing GP. We're at Global Edition 12. 12th season we've been doing this. It's pretty cool. And we're at round 2 of 4 for Global Edition 12. My name's Alex Young, and with me is Amo Haziq, the very famous commentator from Malaysia. Amo, how was round 1? Looking towards round 2 now.
Yeah, round 1 was amazing actually, especially when we're looking at the copper class. The Mazda MX-5s were really the right way to go because they can really go side by side a lot. And the racing, just as you expect, IRL is really good here too.
Absolutely. Now, of course, we are at Imola this weekend. This is a track that was supposed to be held for Formula One, did not get held due to the water, the flooding that happened earlier in the year. It is a 4.9 kilometer track, and it's anti-clockwise, and there are 19 corners. Amo, is this a track that's going to be good for racing?
Well, one part yes, one part maybe it's just going to be one-way traffic, but overall, the racing will be very good because the slow corners, it's not like Mickey Mouse, you know, where it causes cars to concertina. This one has a good flow to it. It's just that the safety improvements that were made post-1994 just happened to make it that way. So it will be a different sort of track compared to Mugello, I would say.
Absolutely. Some onboard shots there with Adam Daniel, who's quickest in practice right now. He is in the copper class. We have got 4 categories here right now. Start off with copper, then we go to bronze, and then finally we end with gold and silver, the pros racing later on. But let's have a look at the standings now for the copper class. Amo, Lavinish was quickest last weekend.
Absolutely. Lavinish Mohane, who also claimed his first win last time out in Mugello in front of Adam Daniel. He was also on fire as well. So we'll be watching out for those two. As you can see, Adam is also setting the pace in practice. And Adriame, the surprise package from round 1. He never starts the season off well. He's done the complete opposite here. He'll be looking to actually improve on that coming to round 2.
The 7-year-old is pretty incredible. Now onto the Teams Cup standings, and you can see Biff Racing there is quickest, well, leading the standings, shall we say, ahead of the pack, ahead of reigning champions Stratos Motorsports and NPR GP in third position. Onto the Nations Cup, and Malaysia's in front. Indonesia's in second. Be quite interesting to see if Indonesia can win. Of course, Malaysia's and Philippines have won before, but it'll be fascinating to see if Indonesia can and take the Nations Cup this season.
Absolutely, given the fact that Indonesians are actually well represented this year, surplus amount of drivers we have from the country, so it's nice to see that they have really come out in force to not only win it for their country, but also they want to win it for their teams and for themselves.
Absolutely. And Indonesia's a lot of people there and a lot of good drivers, and they do love Assetto Corsa. That is the game we're playing on. We're on board right now. Adrian Ahmed is there. He's third in championship. He's just gone second quickest. Practice is finished now, and we'll be going to qualifying in a while. These are the Mazda MX-5s, and just a big thank you to our sponsors. Of course, we're MEM sanctioned, Motorsport Association Malaysia. Life Apparel, who make the great shirts that we wear. And of course, Royal Selangor. Royal Selangor is very interesting because we give some really cool trophies. I keep meaning to set them up behind us so you can see the trophies.
Yep.
The trophies are pretty special. Selangor Pewter, they're beautiful. X Park, of course, where we're at right now. Venue suppliers and just great all-round guys. Go-kart centers, adventure parks all over Malaysia. Really one of the big boys in that sort of industry. Okay,
Indeed.
now practice is over, going to qualifying soon. You can see everyone's in the pit lane, ready, waiting to go out. Hopefully they got the right fuel. Just to let you guys know, it's fixed setup, isn't it, Amo?
Indeed, and the only things you can change are very minuscule. You can change like the brake bias. Well, actually, no, there's no brake bias in these cars. Tire pressures is one thing, and then you can the brake pressures you can change, and nothing much else actually. So it's quite limited in terms of options. So it really is all up to the driver now to make the difference when they're on track, Alex.
Yeah. Do these cars have ABS?
They do. They have the option of ABS traction control, which you can turn on or off, but it depends on the driver's driving style. Sometimes ABS, with it, we can be faster. Sometimes without ABS, you can be faster. But it's also definitely one thing, traction control does help with the car not losing control, but you do want it off if you want a bit more power out of the corners.
Yeah, I can imagine that, because on a road car system, the traction control is not that sophisticated, I would imagine, so it can hold you down on the X of the corners. Better to just use the natural traction control, your right foot.
Yep. Blipping may not be such an option because you probably are one of those guys whose pet peeves are you don't like to see potty foot.
Yeah, I didn't mean blipping, but you know what I mean. Just using the foot to control the traction on the way out. Okay, so there we go. We're heading into qualifying now. And you can see, there we go. It is a warm day today as well, so yeah, we'll see where we go. Qualifying has not started just yet. Okay. Well, it's a bit of a break right now. It's like a minute's break right now.
Yep. And the key thing to note is that this is about the time where the drivers can actually just calm themselves a bit, steady themselves before qualifying, because they know that practice won't mean much, because at the end of the day, the points are given in qualifying and in the races. So they will take that as a barometer.
Yeah.
But for Adam Daniel, that's kind of like a psychological advantage, because he knows that he's already fast from the get-go. Adri, we can see from our camera there, second screen, he is stretching. He's actually having a bit of liquid as well, but for sure, he's feeling very relaxed, and it's quite nice to see him actually being competitive in this league.
Okay, well, it is a 6-minute qualification. Finally, we're up and running, and the boys are on the way up now, so we shall see how they go. Everyone's just leaving the pit lane now, and let's go to the live on-stream action.
And here we are then. Eric Satra is the first guy out on track here, so he's going to lead the way. Adam Daniel behind, so he managed to jump a few drivers out of pit lane, because the pit boxes are not assigned, of course, so you can actually be registered as a driver, but it's how quick you enter the server is when they determine you in the pit box. So for Eric Satra, he was probably closest to the end of the pit lane. That's why he's out first. Julius Wong there has overtaken Adam Daniel, and so does Adrian. So Adrian also is not missing a beat. He wants to get out quickly before the traffic does.
Okay, so Eric Satra there, going through the first sector. When we start this lap, we'll have to go on board, and you can talk us through it. But here we go through Tosa right now, one of the very famous corners here at Imola. Kind of a hairpin, but it's not a very slow hairpin. You can actually carry a lot of speed.
Yep. In fact, for these cars, you can actually go make the throttle fully wide open mid-corner, because it's kind of like most touring cars I've seen or heard from actual touring car drivers in Malaysia, that they say they can actually, even in front-wheel drive cars, go full throttle mid-corner, and this is exactly what they can do in the MX-5. You can just literally go full in between, but you run the risk of losing control a bit, as we're going to see some of the drivers do that later on, as Eric Satra cuts the corner at Aqua Minerali. Probably one of the best corners on the entire racetrack. Really is a thrill of a moment ride, isn't it? You just go through that valley, plunge through, try to trail brake, but not lose the car at the same time. It's just an exciting track. It's a real driver's track, I would say.
Yeah, I love that. It's one of the silver linings for COVID, I guess, because it allowed Imola to come back in the Formula 1 circuit. Obviously, we didn't run it this year, but elevation changes. It's a real track that you have to attack. You kind of have to commit to how much speed you can throw into the corners. very exciting to drive, and of course we're in the MX-5. This is a car that's very popular in iRacing, I have to say. But let's go on board for a track of the lap, for a lap of the track, shall we say?
Yep. Now then, so this is Eric's after Alex. I think you might want to take away because you've driven this track countless times.
Actually, I've only ever been there once, and that was in Formula 1, and it did not go so well for me. But yeah, it's a great track. Turn 1's not really a corner, and then you brake now for turn 2 at the 100-meter bar, well, more like 80 meters. It's a chicane here, carry the curb, get a bit of sideways action through turn 3, turn 4 here, Tamburello is easy flat, until we get a nice medium length straight, I would say, before we come to the Villeneuve chicane. Corner that you just got to throw it, it carries so much speed, try and stick to the left a bit, otherwise you'll be in the wrong place for this right-hander. A little bit of sideways action again by Satria. Then now to Tosa. Again, wow, he brakes on the turn, and that's how much grip these cars have relative to the straight line speed, shall we say. And now steeply uphill. Can't see, got a left-hander coming out, it's Piratella. Piratella, you also have to watch your track. Nope, we've lost him. That's it, let's go back.
We can continue with Adri.
Okay, Adri there, out of Tosa. Quick driver swap, Piratella, here we go. Quick corner, this corner in the Formula 1 car for gold and silver is going to be so much fun. Looking very clean there. Adri Emmett looking very clean. Now into Aqua Minerale. Down changes straight away. Didn't use all the road on turning as well. This looks a little bit messy. You'll have to clean that up later. Out of Aqua Minerale. All the way to the left-hand side. Now braking for the chicane. The slowest chicane on the track. And you got to monster the curbs here. Have to monster the curbs to be here. Adri looks pretty committed there. That looks quite nice. And quite conservative, could have used more road in the exit, but safely through, more important, no track limits. Now, down into the last 2 corners. I forget the names again.
Rivazza.
That's right, Rivazza 1 and 2, isn't it? So Rivazza here, this is the first of the left-handers. Run wide, nice use of the curb. Now onto the last corner. Got to get good exit here, because it comes onto the start-finish straight. Long straight, easy flat. This last corner, turn 19, is not a corner. Get close to the barrier for the shortest distance to the finish line. Well, he'll go quickest because he's the next car on track, but will he be quick enough for pole?
Oh, that is a very quick time though, 2:07 flat. And to think that during the practice runs, he was actually doing very high 2:07s. This is setting the bar quite high. He's thrown the gauntlet here, Alex.
Wow, nice, and he's carrying on, of course. Wow, he was so late on the brakes there for turn 2. This looks even better, to be honest. AJ really stepping up to the mark. He's a relative veteran with the eRacing GP. He started when he was 5, if I'm correct, and he's now 7. So he's been doing it for a couple of years now. We go to the zoom. There he is on the bottom right. You can see how small he is. He's completely dwarfed by the steering wheel and the Recaro seat behind him. But well, let's see if he can improve. At the moment, no one is getting close.
Yep. He's the only one in 2:07, so that's an amazing first banker lap. You know, if that could even be considered a banker lap, to be honest, that's really fast. But he did get some corners wrong, especially through Aqua Minerale, where you can hear he kind of revved a bit too high on the gearbox. So he tried to lower the gears, but the revs were still high, so he kind of tapped out a bit. That's what he was trying to avoid.
See, he's a little bit narrow on entry, and he just changed down a gear a bit early, but still looks a bit messy. But I thought the first sector of this lap was very good, so he's got a good chance of going quick as 4. And of course, Adrian's really improved this Global Edition. Now he's really stepped up from the midfield to be right at the front. He is coached, of course, by Nakib Aslan, and of course Ammo. Of course, sorry, Ammo. There he is. Yeah, wow, that's it. Qualifying's over. So at the moment, is there anyone going quickest? Adrian might even go quicker at this point.
Indeed, and the sector times kind of more or less say so, because he is actually matching it. He is faster through the second sector because of how much faster he went through Aqua Minerale. So let's see if this is going to be a 2:06. This is going to be one to watch out for, Alex.
Wow, I can't believe how far in front is everyone. There's a lot of drivers here have not even set a time. There is a bit of time, obviously. Even though the clocks is counted down to 0, people do get to finish their laps. This Adrian goes across the line. No, does not improve. Okay, so that small, messy mid-sector meant he does not improve, but he still looks good for pole. 2.5 seconds quicker than anyone else.
Yeah.
Who should we look out for? Daniel.
Yep, where is Adam Daniel? Hasn't set a lap, a proper lap yet, at least, because that 454 is just a banker that he sets from his outlap, so he really didn't have time. That Dominic Chen, though, goes up to second, 208.2. That's more than a second off. Where's Daniel? 209.2.
Oh, Daniel, be really disappointed with that. In practice just now, he was in the 7s. So he was capable of putting it for pole, or at least challenging for the front row. He'll be terribly disappointed with that. But P4 is not so bad. You know, still puts him in a good position for the race.
Yep. Meanwhile, for Dominic Chen, who is in the top 10 in the championship coming into this round, that's a good way to start off, isn't it? Especially given the fact that he scored a few handful of points, so he's going to go double the times better here by starting second.
Yeah. And of course, this is the Copper class. It's the first race of the night. Copper class are for those, I wouldn't say beginners, because quite a few of them have been doing it for a bit longer, but for quite a while. But the sort of drivers who just don't really have time to really practice so much. And of course, we do have some beginners here as well. So we look at the racecraft, we look at how quick they are, and that's how we determine the categories.
Yep, indeed. And the categories being split into three races, but indeed, we see like they're considered novices, but we also have experienced guys who have been in the Copper class before, so it's a good balance of drivers that we have here, young and old, from all comers.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we've got a countdown to the race number 1. Just wanted to point at the kid below. He's on pole. It's been doing eRacing GB for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years, I reckon. Really great to see him. This is his first pole, I think, isn't it?
First, yeah, maybe.
Pole position. I think this might be his first pole. He looks very pleased. He looks like he's been nice and calm, getting into the zen, closing his eyes. Father Jay there will be coaching him as well.
Yep.
And at this age, you do need fathers and mothers need to be involved, because there's a lot of hours you need to put on the sim to get good at this. Everyone in the red car, no custom liveries. I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah.
We will have to put the custom liveries in after Copper, I think. That's our fault. Adri actually did produce a really cool livery for this race, but yes. Anyway, Adri there on pole position. Dorato in second, Chen in third, and yeah, countdown to the race now. Oh, 1.5 minutes to countdown. We could go for a quick ad, actually.
Well, yeah, maybe we should, because the race will start.
Yeah, let's go for a quick ad. Okay, 1/2 minute to go, 30 seconds to go before the start of the race. And yeah, Adre, 7-year-old, is on pole. There they are getting ready. Apologies to the drivers and the teams. We have not got the liveries in for Copper class, but we will try and get them in for bronze. Well, look at the car. It's not quite in the box. Could be a bit further forward.
I think because of the way that the camera's position is meant to be like that. But either way, lights are going to come on the gantry, and then when they go out, we're going to be away for Copper round 2, race number 1 here at Imola, and we're underway. Adrian was already on the bubble there. He really was trying to get off the line fast, and we are underway quite cleanly here off the line. Looks as though Adrian had the better start compared to Odi Devanugraha, and he's managed to actually cut across here to the inside before turn number 1 as they come up now to Tambirella for the first time. Who's going to get the whole shot? Adri looks as though he's going to hold on, but Audi's going to go around the outside. Nope, Adri holds on to it. Adri holds on to the lead as the rest of the field then, all 24 of them, squeeze through as one guy's going off. That looks like Muhammad Farhan. Farhan has actually gone off big time there, unfortunately. Yep, he's been whacked a few times. That's into the barriers he goes. But apart from that, at the front, Adri Ahmed with the start of dreams.
Wow, so that was a relatively clean start for the Copper class. So that was pretty good. You know, we will catch on board right now with Adrian. Let's just have a look at him right now. There he is. Looks calm and collected. Such a good start by the youngster. And here we go. Back to that on-screen action. And yeah, there we go. Adrian Ahmed looking very good indeed. we should go on board really with Dominic Chen. I would like to see how he's doing, as he's got all over the back of the guy in second place.
Yep, indeed. It looks as though he's gotten up then. Well, actually, Shavinesh Mohane, on the other hand, has actually gotten up to second place, so he's gotten better of the guys in front of him. And Dominic's gotten a very bad run out of Aqua Minerali there, so he's going to be under pressure from Audi Devenagraha.
Yeah, you can see Devenagraha all the way into the rearview mirrors. Not close enough right now for the chicane, but let's see what's the next game. Dominic not really using that second apex too great, and that puts him under big pressure coming out of the chicane.
Meanwhile that's happening, Shavinesh actually is now up to the back of Adriame, so we're going to have to look at this here, whether or not that's going to be possible for him to actually line one up, coming up to Tamburello for the start of the second lap. There's Adri up in front. We're actually trying to look at where Shavinesh is. There's Shavinesh. We're going to go on board with him now, whether or not that's going to be possible for him to overtake on the inside. No, it looks as though Adri has nailed the final corner out of Rivalta quite well, as we have a problem here. Car on track. That is actually not the broadcast guy. In fact, that's actually Yuan Edo, I think, has actually stopped on track.
Oh, wow. Hopefully he can escape and remove himself from the start-finish straight. But Anaya here, looking, brakes really late into turn 2. Actually, made the corner easy. Looks like he could even braked even later, really. Also going to run out of track here through turn 4. Yep, looks good there, easy flat. There's a good battle just brewing though behind. The battle for 4th, 5th and 6th, there they are, you can see them. There's Adam Daniel right now, he's second in the championship in P4. If he wants, he's got a chance here to try and take the championship lead, but he's got to try and get a little bit further up into the top 3.
Yeah, but on the other hand, conversely, you have Adriame who's actually leading the way, and then he has an equally better chance of taking the lead away from the both of them, because Lavinesh is not here either.
Oh, that's a good point indeed. This would be Lavinesh's drop round, I suppose. You are allowed to drop rounds in a Global Edition, 1 round. Well, you have to drop points from round 1. So if you miss a round, you can still fight for the championship.
Indeed, and that will definitely put pressure on you as well to actually perform in the final 2 as well. So that really is going to be the case for the likes of Lavinesh, who's going to make it possible here to overtake the other two, come into round 3 and 4. As Robo Rizky Nobaha, Rizky then was right up to the back of Adam Daniel, but he just couldn't get past him that time. The cars are more or less equal right now in terms of pace, so a bit of a battle pipe forming. That's first and second on the road. Lavinesh Mohane's brother Shavinesh is keeping Adri honest here. Let's see how that's going to be like. Oh, there's a hit! It's a hit! And Shavinesh may have actually been spooked there by Adri, but the fact that Adri went into the corner quite slowly. And is that Adri slowing? Yes, it is, because he might have gotten a penalty, Alex.
He's got a penalty. Adri's...
He had to burn away the penalty.
Ah, okay. He got a penalty for slowing down too much?
No, I mean, he cut the corner somewhere and he had to back it off so that he could burn the penalty away. So that's why he got hit by Shavinesh. And that battle for the lead now is actually quite hot here as we come up to Tamburello for the 3rd time in a row here. Let's see that Shavinesh holds on to it. Daniel goes to the inside. Now Daniel has the opportunity then to take the lead of the championship.
Wow. There we go then. Adam Daniel there up to 2nd position. Dominic Chan down to 3rd. But it's not over. And of course at 4th place, Rizky Novha there looking very feisty indeed.
Yep. He was actually weighing up his options behind because it was Chen and Daniel actually looking very racy. But now he's got an opportunity to go 3rd.
Yep, and he's got his lights on as well. He's telling the guys around him, I'm coming through.
Oh!
Oh!
Spoke too soon there. We might have actually jinxed it.
Yeah, commentator's curse. He looked very aggressive, and yeah, he made a great position with Sosa. Got in front of Dominic Chen, and this a bit too aggressive with the right foot on the exit.
Yep, but now that gives an opportunity for Adri to at least recover and get up to the back of somebody else in front of him. So that's Adri's silver lining. He'll be lining up in the middle of the top 10 for race number 2, but it's a case of what might have been had he not cut the corner a bit too far in. But 10 minutes is still an awfully long time, isn't it? Even though it's a sprint race, we still have plenty that has happened in the final 10. As speaking of that, that's Shavinesh Mohaner, who has actually gone off, and he's got a penalty to burn off too.
Wow, there he is, slowing down. That's a gaggle of cars overtaking. Oh, that's got to be so painful when you get those penalties. Just to watch the other cars just go by.
Yeah, it's just literally a train going by you, and then you realize you missed the ticket to come on it. So that's why it's such a painful thing to see. And for Chavinesh, and in Adri's case as well, to a lesser extent, having to see the field go by is just gut-wrenching. But for Adri, there is a bit of salvation, because now Dominic Chen has also slowed to actually give way. So Dominic has also fallen victim to the penalties, and now Adri's back up to the podium positions.
Wow, so much can happen. And there we go. I mean, Adam Daniels seems to be checking out in front, but Adri's coming back. It's a good race lap by him on the last lap. Can't really tell. 209.7. Not bad. Not too bad.
Yep, not bad at all. As who's that looking really dicey behind? That's Odi Devanugraha. Devanugraha actually is looking up to the back of his fellow countryman, Revian Gumala. Around the outside, he'll be a brave man to do so. Can he switch back? No. Revian holds on to the apex quite well and holds on to 4th place just for the time being. And although at one point, Odi actually looked like he did get the overtaking move done on Adri as well, but he's fallen a bit further behind compared to Adri's progress. And now, the field sort of broken up a bit. We're seeing strings of 1 and 2 cars together, but not as big as a gaggle of people before.
Audi there just controls the slide. I thought he was going backwards, but he managed to control the slide beautifully through the Villeneuve chicane, and he stays there in 5th position.
As meanwhile, Adri is now moved up to P2 in front of Risky Novaha. So Novaha may have actually missed a gear there, or he might have actually gone a bit wide, lost momentum, because like most other cars, momentum is so important, and it's even more so in these cars where you don't have that much straight line speed.
Well, okay, so Adrian's up to P2. Can he close down the gap to Daniel, though? 5.5 seconds now. That's 7 minutes to go. That's just pretty much almost a second a lap. Sorry, a second per minute if he's going to close down that gap.
Indeed, and that will be roughly equivalent to about at least what, 3-4 laps maybe for Adri to come up here as Gumala and Devanugraha go side by side through the Variante Alta, and behind them Moremada is getting involved as well, as Gumala now has to slow for the penalties.
That looks painful. Taking those time penalties is going to be painful for sure.
Indeed. Which comes to a good question then. Was it a good idea to leave the penalties on by default? Because it does help police track limits better, doesn't it? Or maybe...
I guess so. I mean, we'll have to see with the other classes, because obviously I think the penalties will be quite big, because less experienced drivers are just making bigger mistakes, perhaps.
And, well, it does help police track limits better, but is it too draconian?
Can we change the settings? Can we be a bit less severe?
Well, it's by the game as well, so I think we leave it at that, because at least it's easier for the game to police drivers on the track, as opposed to having having to work with the game in that regard. You know, making your own penalties. As around the outside goes, is that Dominic Chen going around the outside? Oh, we're actually on board with the wrong car, because we wanted to look at this particular battle between Dominic Chen, Sajita Moremada, and in front of them Chavinesh Moine. But on the outside there, it looks as though Moremada may have had the opportunity to defend it, and guess what? He does actually from Dominic Chen. Dominic also has fallen victim to the penalties, takes a bit of curb on the outside and grass, stalls his momentum, coming through Tosa. Around the outside goes Dominic, he'll try one, but Moremada will actually fend that off quite nicely and still holds on to P6.
Moremada, great name, from Sri Lanka. In P6, looking the inside. Hard to overtake it to Pertella though. Looks to the outside now. Difficult to go around the outside through this corner. You always run out of track just at the exit there. But he's right with him into Aqua Minerale. You can't overtake him here. You brake so late for this corner. Now you can overtake into the chicane though if you get a good exit. But Moremada, they got a little bit of a tank slapper. Fishtail, as Admiral would like to say, on the exit there. So not close enough as they brake for the chicane.
Dominic here, coming up now to the Variante Alta. It looks as though he might have gotten a better exit that time compared to Moremada, and he does. You can see there how close he was initially, but then when you shift through the gears, whether or not you can clutch it in time without losing momentum, that's where it makes or breaks your run. Up to Rivatsa now onto the inside. Oh, that's a brave move, and I think he had the ABS on too, because you didn't hear a lockup, you didn't hear a chirp from the tires, and he gets it through. What a move there from Dominic Chen to get one over Sachita Moremada.
Nicely done. Nicely done. And he pulls to the inside. Well, it's the outside of this corner, but it will be the inside for turn 2 when they finally get to it. And yeah, he's alongside now.
Indeed. Let's see whether he's going to get it. This is going to be a straight fight to that first corner. Across the line, there was nothing in it between them. They were setting almost the exact same times as Dominic then on the outside, Morimata on the inside. Morimata gets it back. So he got the maneuver done at Rivalta, but stalled his momentum on the way out. Tries to fight back, and no avail. So Sachita Morimata gets it back at him and loses momentum on the way up to the end of the first sector.
Yeah. Into the Villeneuve chicane. Still looking around the back of him. Dominic Cheng's going to be driving his mirrors, and maybe he's driving his mirrors too much because he runs wide. And that lets Satria back through again.
Now we're going to look at battle for second. Oh, cut to it just in time because Novaha looked like he cut across Adri there for a second. Adri around the outside, but Novaha gets him back on the inside there. So through Piratella, he gets him. But that looked a bit dirty there, don't you think, Alex? Because he just drove across him.
Yeah, we just caught the end of it, didn't we? We didn't actually see what happened before it, so hard to say. Drivers can protest moves, of course, at the end of the race. But it's really been a good job, you have to say, from Novaha to catch up that gap after that mistake at Tosa.
Yeah, and then to Adri's credit as well, he didn't actually lose control there. He held his ground, so it could have been an even nasty accident if one of those two drivers overreacted in the heat of the moment. So luckily then, contact was quite light and they can still carry on, but they're carrying quite a bit of damage on their cars. Especially you can see some scuff marks there.
And the scuff marks, the damage that you see, will it slow the car down?
If it really does get badly damaged, yes, because on your indicator it will turn orange on the top, so that will actually cause you to understeer quite a lot. But maybe some light contact yellow may not be too bad. As Sharvinesh has actually gotten yet another slow penalty, so he's going to have to give a lot of drivers the position. And look at that. Again, he bought the wrong ticket to go on board the hype train.
Awesome. Okay, we should have a look at who's at front right now. Adam Daniels. We'll come back to that actually. So Adam Daniels there going through turn 2. Big gap in second position there. Risky Nova is looking quite good as well.
Yeah, we're looking at Adri. I mean, right now, Adri then second place, and he's gotten back in front of.
Yeah, but let's have a look at Lavinesh, shall we?
Yeah, Lavinesh is here actually, and we thought Lavinesh was out of it, but here he is. He's actually in the race right now, so I don't know where he was in qualifying because Lavinesh and Sharvinesh have the most unique names on the grid because it really is very long, so it's not easy to miss out. But here he is, Lavinesh then, P11.
Yeah, he's got a great wheel as well. Look at that, sort of fan attack. Love the helmets in the background. You can see the inset in the bottom right. Got to remind him to set that camera to landscape mode next time.
Yep. And
okay.
He's got even the clutch pedals on board on that thing, so he really can fire off the line.
Okay, let's go have a look at David Chen right now because he's all over the back of Shavinish there in P7.
And in front, Eric Satria and Morimata as well. They're going side by side. Let's see where that comes, what comes out of that one. And it's Satria who actually goes through. So Piratella apparently is possible to overtake here. So in these cars, at least 9 in an F1 car or something faster than that.
Yep. It's looking very close here at the moment. We have to go back to the battle for second though, because look at that. Adrian Ahmed has got back in front of Nova.
Yep, he did come back through at the start of the lap, or at least maybe at the start of the previous lap. He really has gotten a bit between his teeth, but again, he'll be ruining about the fact that if it weren't for that slow penalty, he would have actually been on for the win.
You're so right, really. I mean, there was still a long way to go in the race, but yeah, definitely did cost him a lot. But I have also been very impressed with Adam Daniel. I mean, the pace. I mean, a bit lucky to get to the front, but the pace he's shown once he's got there is impressive indeed. And that's it. That's the finish line. Adam Daniel takes his is his first win in the season? Second win of the season.
Yep, and AJ would get his second podium of the season as well across the line. That was a dead heat finish, but 4 tenths in it between. I mean, Novaha, they had a ding-dong battle. As further behind, we're going to see Odi Devanagraha come across the line in 4th. Morimata though. And in fact, it's going to be a tight battle across the line then between a few drivers. Oh, that's an accident post race. Oh, that's a big one. So many cars involved. Who would finish in front of the other? It looks as though Morimata just got ahead of Sharvinesh Mohanair and Eric Satra in there just as well. And for good measure, Dominic Chen also was back there. So amazingly, 4 cars crossed in the space of 2 tenths of a second.
Yeah, this is Wow, okay, well that's it. Race 1 is done. That was an exciting race. And we got race 2 coming up now. Race 2 is going to be a reverse grid race. Top 10 will be reverse, and that one always gives good battles, doesn't it? We should go for a quick break right now, and be right back with race 2. Okay, so we're back. Adam Daniel won that race. Adrian Amit was second. Nopar in third. Devanugra in fourth. Moramata in fifth. Nair in sixth. Satra in seventh. Dominic Chen in eighth. Kusuma in ninth. And Dorato there in 10th. So some pretty good racing there from round 1. Race 1 of the Copper class. We're going to be coming back to the race 2 in a while. Just waiting for the cars to finish their race and get ready to line up on the grid.
Yep. In fact, all the cars that were in the race just now, at least the ones that were remaining, 23 of them, have crossed the line. So we're waiting for the session to cut across here. But your thoughts on what was actually an interesting race? Because what we can take out of that was it was Adri's race at the initial parts. But would he still have been holding on to that one if Adam Daniel was chasing him?
I think not. I think these cars are too easy to overtake with. I think that it would have been too tough to stay out in front because Adam Daniel's pace was very, very good. And I don't think it would have been tough. You never know because obviously coming up to someone catching someone is one thing. Actually doing the overtake is quite something else. But looking on pure pace, I think Daniel just had the edge on Adri through that first race.
Indeed, and in fact that lap times does show it actually because Adam Daniel did set the pace in the practice sessions. He showed that in the race that he could break the 206s. So a bit of work to do for Adri here if he wants to actually get his first ever win in eRGP. But still, a pretty convincing drive either way because he showed that it's not a flash in the pan, that form he had in the first race.
No.
This second round definitely shows that he is maturing very well here to come into the races and looks like he's no slouch.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like he's really found something a little bit extra right now. And it'd be interesting to see how he does later. We are, of course, about to start the race. Couple minutes, minute and a half before race start. Exactly a minute and a half before race start. Everyone is lining up on the grid. Francis Dorato will start on pole position with Hendra Kusuma in second. Sorry, Dorato's second, isn't it? Yeah, Dorato's in first. But how come it says Satra's in first?
Oh, because Eric Satra had problems with his connection by the looks of it because he did come to qualifying, but then we saw him during the hot lap around the circuit that he just flew off. So that was probably just some sort of bug that happens sometimes when the game just detects whoever's first. We had it on race room before actually. Yeah.
Okay, so Daniel there who won race 1 will start in P10. This is where the racecraft comes in. You know, race 2 with the reverse grid. It's not just about being fast, it's about how you race as well. And how you can get cleanly through the traffic. That is a thing, because you could easily just go lose your mind and just hit people off. But of course you get a penalty if you do that.
Indeed, and it's also another thing as well to race when you're from P10 or further behind. You want to actually recover your weekend, especially with championship contender like Lavinesh, who had a race 1 to forget. Now he wants to actually get the job done in race number 2. So, 10 seconds to go. Cars are revving up. Drivers are getting ready. Then you can see that they get the hands of the drivers in the cockpit on the gear shift. 5 lights on the gantry, 6 on our screen. And when they go out, we're on the way for race number 2. And that is a good start then for Francis Dorato. Dorato goes off onto the middle of the road trying to fend off Hendra Kazuma. Hendra then has gotten the line on the inside as they come up through the king, through the start of turn 1. Oh, accident further behind. It looks as though a couple of drivers involved. Muhammad Farhan and Nations Valentino, one of the keyboard warriors here.
Oh!
Drivers crashing off further behind there as well, as we got plenty of action coming through, and we haven't made it through the first corner proper at the top to that point.
Yeah, a lot of cars there trying to get back on the grid. There they are. Oof, looks like they're all going rallying as well. There's dust getting kicked up. Oh, that's a pretty damaged MX-5.
Yep, cars here, there, and everywhere. As we're looking at Adrian Miden, who's made a good start here for race number 2. We're going to go to him now. Or has he been involved in those crazy incidents? Yeah, maybe he has actually, unfortunately.
Yeah, he is. There he is. Way down in P17. He must have gotten involved in that carnage. But, oh, look at that. Yeah, that's a pretty scratched up MX-5 there. But he's surviving for now.
Yep, that's what he wants to do, actually. Survive the initial stages and just carry on. But that actually will put a bit of a damper on the fact that he had such a good first couple of races. And the first race just now in this round, he's going to have to chuck this one into the bin. But meanwhile, we're going to look at drivers up in front. Sharvinesh has actually made a good start. Or has he? No, he's going to have to slow it. I looked for a second that he thought that he was going to make it up to the front, but nope, he's actually stopped it there. Now we're going to have to focus on the other drivers up in front here. So it's Dominic Chen, who was on pole position just now, alongside, or is it Francis Dorato? Francis Dorato up in front as well. So the two Filipinos against Hendra Kusuma, the Indonesian, up in front here.
And look at that. We have to go a bit back because race 1 winner, Adam Daniel, is all the way down in P22. He's had a terrible first lap.
He might have been involved in that minor scuffle coming up to the king through turn 1, as Lavinesh then as well is up there. There's Lavinesh Moiner in front of Nabil Jalil. Oh, there's a spin! Hendra Kasuma and Francis Dorato have actually gone into the gravel trap, into the grass actually. Gravel trap initially and then spun across the circuit. So that's why you see both of them in, as Dorato gets involved in a secondary contact with, who's there? That might have been Sharvinesh, or is it Hendra Kasuma? Whatever it is, there comes the rest of the field. Dorato's race is well and truly done here. As, first lap, amazing. Amazing racing. Well, amazing racing for one thing, but also amazing amount of action. And we didn't even get to the first corner prior to the start of race. There's Adri now fighting with Alfico Askar for P16 there. We're looking at Farhan battling with Miyazono. Oh, that's close, isn't it? Ruddy outside. Brilliant move. And he's got the one over in Miyazono. Now he's going to chase up the rest of that top 10 up in front, splitting away from the rest of the field from the big accident in the first lap.
Yeah, Ahmad Farhan there, P8, gets a bit of a good exit there. Oh, someone else has just gone off. That's a big hit into the concrete wall. Eric Satcher there somehow survives that. I mean, that could have been his race done and dusted. I mean, if that had been in real life, he'd be missing 2 wheels at this point. But somehow he survived there in P6. Covering the inside to Aquaminarani, I don't think he has to worry about that because Moramada is not close enough behind him.
Meanwhile, speaking of close, that's Rizky Novaha in front, 2 tenths behind Lavish Mohaner, the championship leader coming into this round. They're coming up now to the Variante Alta. Who's it going to be then? He went narrow, but somehow manages to get both of the apexes. A bit of a touch there, as behind them, Gumala, Satria, and Morimada are involved. And there goes Nabil Jalil. Nabil has actually gotten copper to the penalties here that was been dished out a lot from the game itself. So really, it's been policed quite well, but it has caused 1 or 2 headaches as well, especially given the fact that some drivers have to go completely offline or in the middle of the road to actually burn those penalties. Luckily, nothing absolutely major has happened from out of that.
Yeah. Oof. All the cars coming through the last corner there, battling hard. This is the battle here for P4. Moramada there, back in front of this gaggle of cars right now, but it looks like a mother duck with the ducklings all lining up behind her. As to the inside goes Gumala. Gumala takes the position, and he's just in front as they break for turn 2. Is Moramada going to try and go around the outside? Does not, just slots in nicely in between. Ooh, on the cutback though, he's now on the outside for turn 4. Can he stay around the outside of Gumila? He does. And Moramada is back up to 4th, but he's got the outside line to the Villeneuve chicane. Nope, he's in front. He's going to make that outside line, the racing line, and he goes in front.
Oh! Farhan actually got in front of them, and Gumala is the biggest loser out of all that.
Oh.
Look at that, 3 cars behind, and Sharvinesh is completely, no, in fact, it's Nabil Jalil, who's actually completely been shafted out of that one.
Yes, just seeing a lot of mistakes here on lap 2 of this race right now. But Moramada will be pretty happy with that because he's now got a lot of space behind him. He'll be looking in that rearview mirror and going, hee hee, thanks very much guys, I really appreciate it. I can now drive a little bit more relaxed because I don't have any pressure behind me. There is Nabil Jalil there. Whoa, all over the back of Miyazono. Small nudge. Gets through.
Just a bumper kiss, and that's kind of like how NASCAR drivers say hi to other drivers in front. It's just the old bump and run.
Yep, so hello, goodbye. Oh. Cars behind him, getting a bit sideways.
There's Miyazono. Miyazono's been really shafted completely there. He's spun around, he's facing the complete opposite direction. He's facing the Adriatic as opposed to facing up to the proper direction of the circuit. And we're seeing in our small camera there with a nice Gran Turismo 2 background.
Yeah.
So he's an enjoyer of that particular game. But his reaction to that is one of absolute disappointment. You can tell he was not happy with that reaction.
Yeah, look, he's still shaking his head. I wish we had a slightly different camera angle. I'd love to see his face, but we can tell by the body language he's not too happy.
Indeed. As we now go back up in front because we're trying to pick up as much of the action as we could because there's so much going on in race 2. It's to be expected because reverse grid races often throw up the biggest surprises, and we've been surprised so far at how crazy it's gotten actually just off the start. And the major protagonists, apart from Lavinesh Mohane, have been actually thrown out of there.
Okay, here we go. Mohamed Rice breaking for turn 2.
Yep, it's been settling so far, isn't it? It's got into a bit of a rhythm. You can tell the drivers are settling through, but again, if anything we've seen so far from previous seasons is that it's 5 minutes of mayhem, 5 minutes of lull, and then final 5 minutes of mayhem as Sharvinesh gets the better of Mohamed Farhan. Farhan gets the second part of the Villeneuve chicane wrong, and he's now into the gravel trap, just about recovers it, but loses the position to Sharvinesh Mohaner. He will have to join his brother further up in front in second place. They already had a collision prior to this in Mugello, so they will have to avoid having yet another problem in Italy. As Raven Gumala, then something's happened to him. Probably it's because he spun or he had to burn away his penalties. But either way, he's dropped out of the top 10, completely out of the points in P18. As further behind another one, Mark Paradina. Is that Paradina? It is, yes. No, it's not Rembos Purnama, but I couldn't see where's Mark Paradina. There he is. Or is he? No, Paradina has actually gotten back up. Somebody actually literally went off into the gravel trap, out of it, and now loses all their momentum to chase up to the back of the rest of them. Oh, don't know where to look. It's hidden everywhere right now.
Yeah, it is. Paradina not in paradise right now as they go up and down through. Oh, every time we look at someone, every time we talk about someone, even we want to say nice things. Oh, someone else got slide up. You know what's happened? I think someone's dropped some oil down Aqua Minerale as Julius Wong also goes wide there. Some virtual oil, shall we say. There's a lot of copycat slides through that double right-hander.
Yep. Well, it's not a possibility to have that happen because we don't really simulate oil being dropped on the track. But you can say proverbially there's a lot of oil that's been dropped on the track today, and the mayhem that's been caused by it is absolutely appalling. Now then, Lavinesh Mohane, 3.5 seconds behind Dominic Chen, and he is actually closing, so we're going to have to keep an eye on Lavinesh's progress here because he did finish up in P11 despite not being available by looks of it during qualifying. But now he is in contention for the win in race number 2 to make it 2 races that he's won this year out of 2 rounds. Now back way to recover so he doesn't have to completely chuck in the bin.
Yeah. Braking for Tosa there now. This good exit there. He's only 3.3 seconds behind race leader Dominic Chen. 5 minutes to go. That doesn't seem like a lot of time, but we've seen already that you just have a small mistake here will cost you a lot of time. So it's still possible that Lavinesh could close down that gap.
And you got to remember, these cars are again all about momentum. They do not want to lose whatever precious drive out of the corner that they've got because they need to keep that momentum, the revs up, so that they could carry the speed and carry the lap time with it. So Lavinesh then, he had a bit of a mistake coming through Tosa, but looks as though he has not really lost too much time because he's gained over a second in just one sector alone to Dominic Chen. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this, whether or not an overtaking maneuver for the win is possible.
Very nice through the chicane. That's probably the best I've seen from Copper Class through the chicane so far. So Lavinesh is really doing a really good job there. 2 seconds now from Dominic Chen. At least, what's that, 2 more laps, 3 more laps to go.
Yeah, Dominic might be feeling a little bit under the cosh here, realizing that his once big lead is now reduced to naught almost coming up to the end of this lap. And through that final corner, 2/10 gain just from a very good exit from Lavinesh. This is going to be game on now.
Yeah, indeed. This could be the fight for the win. Let's see what happens. We'll come back to this battle. Let's look at the battle for 5th position. Because, Mohammed Farhan, I think, has just overtaken Shavanish. There is Shavanish in 6th position. He's trying to come back, though, going around the outside through the last corner. Has got a bit of a run. Goes around the outside, off through the start-finish straight. He will be on the inside for turn 2, though. And Shavanish has taken the business, just got his nose in front at the moment. The question is, will Farhan try and outbrake him to turn 1? No, he breaks a bit early. Shavanish takes the position away, and Farhan slots in behind.
Yep, no way through for Farhan to defend that one because he left the door open there, and he could have actually swerved, but he actually played it fairly safely. And, you know, good fair racing. He just doesn't want to end up into the gravel trap or somewhere in Narnia because of being a bit too overzealous with his defending. Sharvinesh, on the other hand, is overdriving the wheels of that car, trying to stay ahead of Farhan. So Farhan then really doesn't have to do much to keep on the back of the tail of his rival in the road right now.
Yeah. Oof, he's right in the slipstream though. Don't think he's close enough to Pertella. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. No, he decides to just get back in line. Oh, look at that. Both of them getting a bit of sideways action out of Piratella. But Farhan just needs to keep his cool here. He can't overtake right now. Just has to focus on getting a good exit here out of Aqua Minerale. But look at that. Shavanish with a really good exit out of Aqua Minerale. And Farhan will just have to be a bit more patient. We're now at the chicane. This is a place, if you nail the chicane, you can make some good speed. Farhan overslows it through the chicane. And Shavanish actually increases the gap out of it.
Yep, that's what you really want to see from your rival, to make that kind of mistake, because it does give you a bit of respite if you're the driver in front. But you're going to have to focus on your own driving as well, because the immediate driver in front is still catchable, albeit it is a fast driver, which is Sachita Morimada. So 3.5 seconds for Shavanish to make up if he wants to get back into that battle for the best of the rest outside of the podium positions. Now then, outside the top 10, we have Muhammad Reyes. Reyes then, half a second behind Hendra Kusuma, so Reyes doesn't have a camera I think we can focus on, but either way we know that he's been speaking to guys like Nabil to teach about how to get better at his racecraft. We did hear it last year when they were doing the Formula A buffs, how one race slipped away from his hands and he actually got a bit of a chat with Nabil on how to do that. Now he's probably going to be thinking how to get by someone in front without causing much of an accident and get post race penalty, or try not to stuff it into the chicane. Oh, wait, you're right, Alex. Every time we talk about somebody, something happens.
It's like they're listening to the broadcast and they panic when they hear our voices mention their name. Okay, so back to P2. Lavinish is doing a really good job here. Look at that, only half a second ahead of the leader, Dominic Cheng. He's looking really good right now. Good exit out of Aqua Minerale. Closes. No, hasn't really closed. But, gosh, will this be the last lap, you think?
Yes, it is. I think it will be the final lap because we're actually quite deep into the lap right now, and there's no way 30 seconds can be covered by an MX-5 coming into the final 2 corners here. So it looks as though if Lavinesh wants to win, he's going to have to send one at Rivatsa number 1.
Yeah, it doesn't look close enough. Chen just nails the exit out the chicane, and I think he's going to hold on for the win.
Yep, it looks as though Dominic Chen is going to hold on for the win, and does so quite brilliantly because he managed to just fend off that final second that Lavinesh needed to gain on him to win this race. So Well done then to Dominic Chen. Out of the final corner unless he misses a gear then. No, he doesn't. That's a car actually disconnecting. It's Risky Novaha, so Risky then out of third place. So Morimada might actually get a podium out of this. But across the line comes Dominic Chen, winner by just 0.5 of a second in front of Lavinesh Mohane. Lavinesh then second place. He will not be too fussed by that. At least he recovered something of the round that has not been going well for him. He shakes his head a bit in just, well, not to say disgust, but he felt that he could have gotten more out of this round if something didn't happen in race number 1 or prior to that in qualifying.
Yeah, well, I mean, still great job by him to come through. There we go, Mohamed Farhan in 5th, 3rd was Moramada, 4th was Nair, Farhan in 5th. And let's see who else is further back. Adrian Amit, the 7-year-old, didn't really make the progress he wanted. He would come across the line in 12th, while the race 1 winner, Adam Daniel, following him behind in 13th position.
No points for race number 2 for the both of them, unfortunately. So they're gonna have to concede the fact that they just didn't have the best of starts. And granted, it was a massive mayhem coming into turn number 1. We didn't even get to the first turn proper when the accident kicked off, and then the second part we had more of it. So really then it's a case of what might have been in that regard. But first round, because of the points, more points on offer, first race more points on offer, they will take some solace from that one, I would say.
Yeah, so let's see if we can speak to Lavinish, shall we, if he's around. But no, he's not around at the moment. Yeah, let's see if we can ask him if he's on board. Lavinish, are you ready to talk to us perhaps? Let's see if he can talk to us about his race. We will come in and have a quick chat with him now. So, Lavinish, can you hear us? Yeah, okay. Great. Well, are you going to talk us through your race? Race 2 looked quite exciting. You almost got the win there. Okay, well done. Congratulations for giving some excitement. I think, I'm not sure where that puts you in the championship, but congratulations, and we'll see you for round 3. Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't get to ask him how he might have felt about race number 1, because he looked a bit disappointed about his first race going, because he did finish outside the top 10. He was in P11, but regardless, it's a good recovery to get back up to, well, second place in that in the second race, to salvage some points. But overall, it might just be very close between the 3 guys who set the first race pace.
Yeah,
first round pace.
Absolutely. And we do have to go for a quick break because we got the bronze class coming up right now on the hour. So that's the copper class done and dusted. We're back with bronze in just a few minutes' time.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Hello and welcome. Welcome back, shall we say. We've just had the copper class. We now have the bronze class. This is Global Edition 12 for eRacing GP. My name's Alex Young. With me is Amo Hazik. And we are at round 2, which is Imola, Amo.
Yep, the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari, where's his full name as it suggests, named after the founder of Ferrari and his tragically late son at one point because his son died before him. The two Ferrari names that really resonate among the fans here, and we're happy to be here right now actually because it proved quite to be a great track to produce good racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a great track, of course. We've just had the copper class that we mentioned, and bronze class is now up. Let's have a look at the standings from bronze class after round 1. Amo.
Yep, Kanzani Ramdani, proving again why he was one of the fastest guys from copper last year that had to be moved up to bronze in just a single race. He leads the way, but tied on points with Cameron James. So two of those guys are going to be ones to watch out for. While the further point behind, it's Amir Harris, so the newcomer here as well, really proving the fact that we got a lot of great drivers who are very fast in AC, proving their worth here after the first round.
Okay. There's a team standings. Biff Racing in first, followed by Stratos Motorsports and MPR GP.
And then in the Nations Cup standings, it's Malaysia, Indonesia, and Philippines for the top 3. But it shows that the Indonesians especially have a good surplus of drivers who can actually compete up there with the Malaysians and Filipinos.
Okay, there we are. Ramdani there going through the chicane right now. Indonesian driver. You want to take us on board? Maybe we can do a lap. Well, practice is ending.
Yeah, practice is ending right now. We'll probably do that lap in qualifying itself. But I'm not gonna lie, I like when we have the custom liveries on board because just now there was a bit of a glitch, a problem trying to load in. That's why the cars appear red. But now we have all the liveries in. We can see that a bit of team identities coming to play, including for the Balapan Random Motorsports guys. They have their own little spin on the BWM colors. Across the line goes Ramdani. Ramdani is actually now only in P3. In front of them is Danny Afandi. So Afandi is actually fastest of the lot, 46.0. But I think fastest times in the sessions, practice sessions prior to this was a 44, very high 44. So really then, that's the barometer being set. But not gonna lie, it might be changing because of the conditions as well. Because with the track rubbing up quite fast, we might see some even faster times here. As a grid of about 26, 27 cars are here tonight.
Yeah, lots of cars. This is going to be a fun race. Bronze class often gives us the best racing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, because they're good drivers, but not 100% polished, so we do see a lot of action going.
Yep, as looking at some cars who are actually in pit lane, including the likes of Cameron James. He's not been out on track because he's trying to stay in there. Ramdani is still out around the racetrack here to continue on in this practice session, so he's trying to get as much time as possible with his car as we... Oh no, he doesn't get across the line because practice session is over, as we are now ready then to go into qualifying.
Okay, we've got a countdown for a minute for qualifying. Plenty of time to wait around and chit-chat a bit. So bronze class, we saw already from the first round that they had some good excitement. Who stood out for you for bronze class?
Ramdani and Cameron James, actually, incidentally, because Cameron has had background in rallying, incidentally, because I think he uses controller prior to that, but now he's on a wheel.
Right.
But it shows that either dirt or asphalt, he's actually up to the task, and he was one of the WRC Rally Stars, in fact. He was one of the 2 Malaysian representatives in the finale for the WRC Rally Stars, so we know that he's capable of doing that. He's very good, so glad to see that he's actually coming good here in this season as well. Maybe that first season in the ERGP he had last time was just to test out how he could perform. Now he's ready to really go full pelt.
Yeah, absolutely. Be interesting to see. So rally driver turns good on the real track, so we will see how that goes. But yeah, we need to enter into the box first, and let's see.
Yep. Like we are now on board with Ramdani out of the pits, and it looks as though he did manage to get out onto the track first because it's Cameron James who's out in front. So fellow championship rival now ready to actually do battle ahead. I mean, Hardys as well. So all the top three drivers in the championship have gone out together. This is interesting. This, we might see a bit of psychological gameplay between the three guys if they have championship aspirations already locked in. So for the time being, at least, everybody's on good terms. But again, sometimes some championships can end up becoming a little bit dicey when it comes to the crunch.
Yep. So all the different makes, let's talk about them. It's the GT3 class with the Audi, the BMW, another BMW. Ramdani there. So which was the fastest cars, do you think? The BOP seems to be pretty good so far.
Indeed, and it's been either the BMW Z4 or the Audi RA, and these are the older versions of the GT3 cars that we know of, because ACC, of course, has the latest specs. So it's kind of like club racing in the way that we get to see older cars being used. They are outside of the homologation cycle anyway, so it's fun to see that particular aspect come into play here.
Yeah, absolutely, and that white Audi there, I've driven that spec. They are great fun, and to be honest, it's the same lap times virtually as the current generation.
Now then, we're on board here with Cameron James. He's driving actually with the number 46 on the side of his car, so he has Valentino Rossi in his mind. But out of Rivatsa 2 then, not such a good way to start the lap, but at least he is still way ahead of the other guys in traffic. He comes across the line then. Alex, let's go for a lap around Imola.
Okay, let's do Imola. Now, across the start-finish line now. Short burst here. This is the official turn 1, but as he brakes for turn 2, but we always call this turn 1 really. It's the first proper corner. It is a chicane. Ooh, bit of rear locking, bit of sideways action. He can't afford to restart because there's not enough time. He wants to try and get 2 laps done out of turn 4, medium leg straight before he gets to the Villeneuve chicane. Carry lots of speed to the first part of the swing. On the throttle. Yeah, I shouldn't have had that. I don't think I should have had a little bit of throttle in between the 2 corners, because that caused him to run a bit wide and the exit didn't get the exit he wanted. Now into Tosa, the hairpin. Then he goes steeply uphill. It doesn't look steep, but in real life this is quite a hill. Even though, I remember, I think Giro d'Italia one year they ran this track. Now braking for Piratella, this left-hander. Quite a fast corner, and in the Formula 1 car it will be very interesting. Track limits, be very close to track limits. Famous Aqua Minerale now, this double right-hander. Got to use a lot of curb. Oh, it's a really messy lap by Cameron James. That will be track limits. I don't know if he's going to have his time yet. Time is qualified. Yeah, he's got to slow down now. That's really messy. Just needs to gather himself again and try and push for one more lap. There will be time for one more lap here. As Ramdani now goes in front. Oh, Ramdani almost loses it. The fishtail out the corner. Looks like the ABS is not very well set very high on these cars. There's quite a few tank snappers so far. Now to Rivatsa, double left-hander. but Ramdani is looking good, even despite that mistake. This will definitely be good enough to put him provisionally on pole position. As he goes across the start-finish line, goes to the last corner, and across the start-finish line now. That should put him in P1. It does.
A 44.7. Wow. That is a really fast time, because I did mention just now it was about a high 44s, and there it is in question. Ramdani then goes 44.7. Jonathan Takumi Lee goes 45.9. So he's actually really well in tune with the circuit as well. Ame Harris, who was actually in the group of drivers up in front who left for the circuit initially from pit lane, he's up to P5 now. In fact, a few other drivers have actually gone up, because Irfan goes up to P2. Gulandi Haki goes up to P4.
Okay, let's have a look at Ame Harris, another guy who prefers the Z4, and you can see in the inset in the bottom right, there he is driving from home. Looks pretty calm and collected at the moment. We don't have a delta, we can't tell if he's going quicker or not. But so far, from what we've seen, he's had a pretty clean lap. 27 cars in this field, that's fantastic to see so many good drivers coming in and enjoying the racing with us.
And of course, so many different makes as well. It's not just one-way traffic. Harris goes off then, but he does have enough time to do one more lap. Promethi has field. Nope, that's the end of his qualifying, and he's outside the top 5. So he's gonna have to chuck it into the bin there. Focus on the race.
Okay, let's go back to Ramdani right now. He's on a better lap. Oh, sorry, actually, we don't know if he's on a better lap because we didn't see the couple corners leading up to this. But Cameron James, who's behind him, is definitely on a better lap because he's kept Ramdani in view throughout this lap. So if Cameron James can just finish it off quite cleanly, I think it's a good chance he can get in the first 2 rows.
Yep. So out of the final corner then, Irfan out of our side has also improved to a 45.4. Or that might be his first run. We'll have to wait for the second run. And Ramdani uses an unconventional way to come across the line there. And he did improve that time. Cameron James did, 45.5. And he still has enough time, if field permits, for one more run.
Yeah. They just got across the line just in time. So they'll be one of the few cars, because the whole entire field won't get another lap, but maybe about 10 of these cars will get a final lap, final third lap for qualifying. It's not over yet. Ramdani knows he wants to be... Oh! Irfan!
Out of nowhere, 44.2. That's way faster than the 44.7 and 44.9 we saw in, leading up to this. That is an absolutely stonking lap from Muhammad Irfan.
In the Porsche, and of course he crossed the line just in time, so he's going to get another lap too. He'll be hoping the traffic in front doesn't slow him down, because he'll want to improve a bit more, because that's not a... Well, actually, it's a good half-second lap, isn't it? Between him and Ramdani at the moment.
Yep, as he has another driver in front from the Balapan Random Motorsports team that he has to deal with. But to be fair, I think it may just be enough of a gap to come through. Rinaldi Wijaja comes up to P3 for the Bigo Racing team. So that's actually a good qualifying for him to be up there. We got Ferrari off track there outside of the camera, but he's gone into pit lane. So it's Irfan, Ramdani, Wijaja, an Indonesian 1, 2, 3 with a Malaysian in 4th, that's Cameron James. And 5th, out of our side, is Malik Fakrul, the driver finished 2nd last time in Copper in Global Edition 11.
There is Malik, he's gone back to the pits, but let's go back to Ramdani though. Oh, traffic!
Worst possible time to change to him and worst possible time to have it. He's flashing his lights vigorously. He is absolutely incensed by the fact that the guy slowed in front of him. That might have been Muhammad Bintang or Jason Thong, because they're the only 2 drivers.
He improves!
Oh my word, that is absolutely gutting.
Wow, so great lap by Ramdani to improve, but he just lost that 3/10. He definitely, I think that could have been good enough for pole, because he got slowed down big time through the last corner. How come he didn't get a checkered flag? He should have got a checkered flag for that.
Yeah, maybe it's been thrown for him, but it's just not detecting. But either way,
yeah.
Ramdani would be absolutely furious with that one. He knew he had the pace, and the fact that Irfan went even faster, a 44.1.
Wow, great lap by Irfan. Whew, that was an exciting qualifying session. Okay, let's go back to us right now. We're going to go for a quick break because we have I think good 2 minutes before the start of race 1. So be back with race 1 in just a moment.
computer is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves.
Okay, welcome back. We're about to go to the start of the race. Let's go to the start right now. Drivers are ready. Oh!
Yep. 5 red lights, and we're underway here for race number 1 for round 2 of the bronze class. And it looks as though Irfan has actually gotten off to a decent start. But we judge around the outside has gone through. No, there's a BMW off in the barriers. That's Iman Harris. And the rest of the field also plow into him. Big accident put it behind before you make it to the first turn, and that has happened already in bronze as well. But that was race number 2. This is race number 1. Looks as though everybody else has gotten clear away from the rest of that field. As wow, again, a case of so many cars funneling into the first corner. An accident was just bound to happen, Alex.
Oof, there the Ramdani down the inside takes P2 from Bujaja. Nice move there by Ramdani there.
Indeed, Ramdani with a very nice move on the... Well, actually, it wasn't. It was Ramdani on his teammate Wijaja, isn't it? But either way, what an absolutely brilliant start from drivers not involved in that particular kerfuffle up in front. It is the sort of start that we wanted to see. That was very clean.
Yeah. And there's that battle right now. In P2 right now, Cameron James in P4. But further back there, Jonathan Takumi there in 5th position. In the Ferrari, I think he's in the Ferrari. There he is.
With Malik Fakrul.
Oh, Malik Fakrul down the inside. Nice. Oh!
They're going to have to back it off now because they're going to get a corner cutting warning.
Almost pulled it off nicely, getting it right. I think both of them, maybe Jonathan Takumi will get away with it, but I think Malik Fakrul would definitely have a slowdown at some stage. Behind him, look at that. Is that
Jusmin on the inside of Danny Afandi. So that's BMW on Ferrari there. And McLaren behind, that's Mohammed Hakimi. So this chopping and changing between some of these drivers as Takumi then flashes his lights at Malik Fakrul. He's not happy about it one bit. As we can see there, Hakimi, he was actually banging his head on the second screen. Now we get you get him on board. He did that last time in that first round in Mugello where he tucked in, trying to get faster. And it might have worked that time because he actually got around the outside of Effendi. So Effendi then is not having the best of times in that Ferrari. It looks as though Ferrari's not really big on the straight line speed.
Yeah, but look at that, Hakimi in the McLaren. The important thing is he is in front. He needs... Oh, dear, that's a bad mistake there by the Ferrari. Oh, dear. Effendi there. Yeah, that's a really bad mistake. And even though he stopped to let Hakimi go again, I think he'll get a penalty for that. That was quite a bad one.
Indeed. Not very, it was uncalled for, wasn't it? He just didn't want to do that. And Hakimi would definitely be absolutely furious with that one because he had the overtaking maneuver done sweetly, but then proceeds to just be taken out like to the skip.
Yeah, there we go. I think there in the Ferrari, he's had a qualified P15, so he's had a good first lap really to come up to 11th position.
We have looks like Jusmin then. Jusmin onto the inside of Malik Fakrul. Malik's given the position back to Jonathan Kamili by looks of it, and he's gotten a warning for that one. Now he's actually out of it, so he has to fall back behind the train and into, well, he's going to run with his teammate then, isn't it? The Paki Racing Team motorsport guy, teammate of Amir Rafiq.
A bit surprised here. I'm not going to say these guys have been doing a set of course for a bit now. They don't know about the slowdown penalties.
Yeah.
And how severe they can be here.
Yep, indeed. and it could be very severe to the point that it could reach up to 5 minutes. That's what happened to Mika's eRacing in Mugello, where he actually had to back it off, stop the car completely, wasting 2 laps, but he knew that he was in one way on the circuit, so he had to come to his senses and just escape the race. So it does get very severe. It's a bit draconian, we did mention earlier, but it's just a way to police the track limits easy, isn't it? Because you can't have drivers cut across the track and get a point, fast lap, even though it's an illegitimate lap.
Yes, that is true. Wish for those. We'll find out later. But Paco there. Ooh, gets a tank slapper. Let's go through here. Survives for now. Let's go back to the middle of the top 10 right now. Justman there in P7. Getting very racy indeed. Who's he with? He's the Harris there. Side by side, the 2 BMWs. He's going to take it. He's going to be on the inside for Piratella. Gets the move done nicely.
Yep, absolutely. He got to drive out of Tosa there, but Harris is fighting back. Oh, they touched each other. They do not want to go side by side in that particular instance because these are much bigger cars compared to the MX-5s. Yes, you see that the Z4s are somewhat of the same size, but because of the bulkiness of these cars and they're actually slightly heavier, you might want to avoid going side by side here, otherwise you'll have a massive accident. And Harris backs out of it just in time at the expense of the fact that Gurlandi Haki, Adiasta, Damas Adiasta and Malik Fakru are also right behind, waiting to actually take a free position away.
Back at the front though, look at that Irfan though. He's got a huge, but relative standards, we're only on lap 3, just completing lap 3. That's a big gap there by Irfan. Close battle behind though, Ramdani and Wijaja still very close as they go across the start-finish line. A little bit further back, Cameron James in the white Audi goes across the line as well.
Yep, Cameron will be watching this one very closely as that is his chief chapter rival from race number 1 as Ramdani gets a bit of a big old whack behind from Wijaja, so that might make him, give him a wake-up call and a bit of damage, which is detrimental to the way he's going to drive after this.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like a push really, didn't it? Give him a big push out of turn 2.
Yeah.
Wijaja probably telling Ramdani, come on, let's go.
Yeah, they'll say, come on home, let's go home. Yes, they usually would say it. So Wijaja then giving Ramdani a wake-up call. Cameron is about 1.3 seconds behind, and Jonathan Takumi Lee is driving a very good race actually, 4 seconds behind this battle. So he'll be watching brief in case any one of those guys might come across him.
Yeah, I mean this is a great class of racing. I love multi-make racing. I love that there are 4 different makes in the top 5. That's awesome.
Yep, 5. In fact, you can have 4 different makes in the top 5. It shows that the BOP actually is pretty balanced, if anything. Yep. Apart from the Mercedes, of course. We would love to have Mercedes up there.
Okay, let's look a little bit further down through the field. Matthew Grange there. Ooh, coming from way far back, trying to go down the inside. That was never on. He's got some damage. Oh, and there's Grange on the inside. He's not happy with that. Boom into the barrier again. He winces, rightly so. Cars everywhere.
Yeah.
I know he was the recipient of that accident, like someone hit him, but I think trying to go for a gap that wasn't there, that caused a bad exit, actually put himself in a lot of trouble there.
And you might say that it was kind of like him starting out the domino effect that happened afterwards, isn't it?
Yeah.
He may have been the receiving end of that accident, but let's not beat around the bush at that one. It's also started by somebody, so unfortunately he was both the attacker and receiver on that.
And I'm sure you'll send a protest on that, because still, even if someone slowed up in front of you for a bad exit, it's still up to you as the overtaking car not to hit him. And Grange definitely did get hit.
As meanwhile then, this is Amir Harris. We're back on his camera right now. He's having a good old race here with Ahmad Jusmin. This is BMW versus BMW. Jusmin goes very narrow there. And does he have her on the outside? He's got to go for the switchback. We can see that the intention there. And he's got a good exit, Alex.
Yeah, that was a really good dummy, because he looked at, big accident. Oh, gosh, how do you call that one, Ammo? Whose fault was that?
I think Jusmin might have cut across there because he knew that he was being done for coming out of Tosa. He tried to defend, but he probably was not seeing Amir in his blind spot, and that's what caused the big accident. So it's you can say it's a racing accident, but it might have been more towards Jusmin 60-40.
I'm going to have to agree. I think Harris was there, and you can't just keep moving over on someone, especially when the gaps are so small and you've got ping and all sorts of stuff. So unfortunately, that's race out for him.
Oh, That's a real shame, isn't it? And Jusmin, I think, might have got back to the pits. No, he's actually still racing, actually. So Jusmin's in P13. He'll have to continue on with that. Despite getting 2 points, he will definitely be wishing he had more.
Yeah, but I just want a bit of a quick shout out to John McGregor there, just ahead of this pack. He's a stalwart here at eRacing GP, been here since I think the first global edition. And it's great to see him out there in P8 doing a good job. At least in the extra old Audi.
The old Audi, yeah, the LMS Ultra. So he's racing against the guys who are racing the slightly newer cars. As you can see the evidence there, how the difference in cars has affected the top speed. Well, the new Audi R8 LMS is way faster, but credit to John though, he's up in the top 10 in an older car.
Yes. Gosh, I look at that rear wing.
Oh. Can we probably not focus on too much of drivers that probably we talked about, otherwise they'll have really bad luck.
Yeah, they'll probably be telling us to stop focusing on them. Okay, Amiral Afik there, looking pulls to the outside at Tosa. Going to try and do the switchback here on Cameron James. And tell you what, Afik's done a great job up to P7.
Indeed, and he's been understated so far. He had a bit of a meh qualifying by any admission, P15, but he's made up 8 positions. And look at how clean his car is. It looks as though he's not involved in any of the nonsense that happened in the midfield. So really then, he's on for a good race then, a good haul of points, something to kickstart his season.
Yeah, no, he must have had a problem qualifying because he's showing some very good pace right now.
Yeah, in fact, really good pace then in the race. So it shows that even if it was in qualifying, if he could convert that, that would have been the ticket to the front. But for the time being at least, P7 is not a bad return at all. And he's trying to pressure Cameron James here, one of the main championship protagonists. So Cameron may have actually fallen off a bit in the preceding period that we have been focusing on the other battles to be where he is right now. He's going to lose a bit of points here to Kanzani Ramdani. Ramdani, on the other hand, has not been able to catch up to the back of Mohamed Irfan. So 4.3 seconds separate first and second right now. His fellow countryman, Reynaldi Wijaja, in third, 2 seconds further behind as well. While Jonathan Tukamili falling even further behind, 8 seconds behind Wijaja to be exact. So he won't be too displeased by that. He has gotten a good haul of points from this one by finishing P4, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, we've got a reverse grid race to come as well. Strangely enough, top 5 as well. It's kind of spaced out a bit, so we're focusing on some of the battles in the mid-pack. Hakimi there trying to come back after getting taken out early. He's doing a good job. P10. If you can finish P9, P10, that means he will start on the front row for race 2.
Yep. You'll have to be on the front row to convert what would technically be an easy win, but again, some wins just don't come easy, and I kind of know for a fact that when I had my reverse grid win in Sepang, had to fend off really fast guys, so it's still not a pretty thing either. You just have to do it the old-fashioned way and just try to hold your ground and be a bit gritty about it. So that's Hakimi up in front here. Sorry, not up in front, up in the midfield here, trying to chase up back to the top, coming up back to the top 10. He is in P10, still going to score some decent amount of points, but it's a case of what might have been had it not been for that collision as he locks up after following a driver in front. That's Adiasta, so hopefully he doesn't get a penalty from that.
Hakimi has to be careful here right now. I know P10's not ideal for first race, especially after being spun out, but he doesn't want to make another mistake and fall behind because P10 will start P1 for race 2.
Yep, and speaking of the other guys who are battling as well, this is Gurlani Haki battling with Cameron James. James has lost position again. He was up in the top 5 earlier. Now he's outside of that. He's in P6, being chased by another fellow Audi driver. So what has happened to Cameron James in the last couple of laps? He really has gone overboard.
We did see in qualifying though, didn't we? In qualifying he looked a little bit messy, looked like he was prone to making mistakes. He managed to get a relatively clean lap to qualify in the top 5, but you could already see that he was a bit greedy with his throttle in qualifying, and yeah, that could lead to troubles in the races, especially when tyre wear starts coming in.
Indeed, if you've gone off way too many times, it does accumulate a bit. Yeah, the time mode in ACC may not be as advanced compared to other newer sims, but you still have those kind of realistic moments where if you do go off track, you do get a bit of a beating from to your tires when you go offline, so it does hurt the tire life a bit. That might have been the case for Cameron James here. He's really not been in the races so far against his fellow rivals up in front.
Green Lamborghini there pulling off to the side, must be getting lapped.
Renato Julie, so Julie, the former champion in Copa at one point, not having the best of starts to the season here, so he might just be focusing on probably trying to get better than the last two. But the Lamborghini here is on and off because the Huracan can be very fast, but it really depends on how well you can get the most out of it because it is quite a really happy car. So let's see if there's any other battles up and through the grid. We have Ahmad Jusmin recovering Ahmad Jusmin. Miat trying to get by John McGregor. McGregor then with the very wide rear wing. It looks actually much wider than the BMW, or it might just be a bit of an illusion actually because it's like GT cars versus prototypes. You think the prototype is bigger? It's actually smaller because of the size of the windshield.
Yeah, and really that old Audi looks very big. It's just because the end plates are very big. Not very efficient car. I remember with the model after that came out, how much quicker that car was in the straight line, just due to the less drag, really.
And looks as though move's done. We have to now focus up further in front of this particular battle, as Afandi is now out of the race. So the Ferrari that caused a bit of incidents prior to this will be now sitting on the sidelines waiting for race 2 to start, as Hakimi then tries to line one up on the inside. He has already made one maneuver at Tamburello, but not this time though. He's gonna have to buy this time, wait for the opportunity to rise again. It might come here because of Reynaldo Juli blocking Demas Adiasta, and Adiasta then is flashing his lights. Juli is not moving out of the way. Now he does, but that will pull Hakimi back into play.
Yeah, it's a nightmare for Juli because he's obviously had trouble. He's come out back in traffic and he's just trying to let people through, and he can't actually focus on the driving at the moment, as we're on the last lap of the race now.
Yep, where is Mohamed Irfan? He's out of the Variante Alta and making the run for home now here into Rivazza 1 and 2. It looks as though it's going to be just one of those races where he just made a beeline for it, never looked back. Those guys behind were just having their own race. He was up in front, not looking any way whatsoever. Coming out of Rivazza 2 now, there's Kanzani Ramdani trying to reel him in, but it's not enough time. He powers across the line then. It's a win for Mohamed Irfan for Team Techno. What a way to do it in the Porsche here at Imola. It's a good finish as well for Ramdani. He will maintain the championship lead in front of Cameron James. Wijaja in third. Fourth is Amir Harris. Again, a case of what might have been if he had a better pace at the start of the race. Amir Rafiq actually has overtaken Jonathan Takumi. So what has happened to Jonathan Takumi there? He's fallen off a bit, but it's going to be a top 5 finish either way. Amir Rafiq then, a good return to the top 5. Powers across the line. P5 for him. Jonathan Takumi 6. Cameron James will be rather disappointed at P7. Will be a return for him after, again, a good start to the race, but he just couldn't maintain the tyre life. Hakimi with a valiant 8th, 9th Gerlandi Haki, and 10th Ahmad Jusmin.
Okay. Amir Rafiq was so pleased with that. 10 positions to go from 15th to 5th. Some great performances there. Of course, let's look down at P10, of course. That is Ahmad Jusmin. There he is. He will start P1 for race 2 later.
Yep, and that will be the great decider here. So it's Jusmin all the way to Irfan in the top 10 for race number 2.
Yeah. Okay, so still got a few other stragglers coming through that haven't crossed the line yet. Matthew Grange there, he's had a tough race. Comes across the line. P20. Oh gosh, 32 cars out there, 30 cars out there or something. So we have a lot of cars out there racing. There's Adam Kondrolochis from Malaysia. He's also crossing the line. So quite a few cars. And then as we'll wait for the grid to line up, then we'll go to race 2. So what do you think, Amo? You think the guys at the front, we haven't had any double winners in Global Edition this year so far, have we?
Not this season yet, yeah. Apart from, no, we have only one already. That's actually the Mario Hasnam. He's actually gotten a win, a double over in Mugello as well. A very comprehensive double, might I add. So that's one double already in gold, but we haven't had one in bronze yet. So with such an open nature in this class with so many manufacturers, it might be difficult to do that, to be honest.
Okay, so all the cars are back into the pits now. We will come to the grid in a while. It's going to be a while before, because I think another couple minutes, eh? So...
Yep, I think it might be enough time to go for a commercial break to wait until the cars completely grid up for race number 2. So we'll be right back until then.
Computer is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you.
Okay. All right, we're back. Race 2 is about to start, and we are ready to go.
Yep, about to get underway. Lights on the gantry. We're out here. Juiceman's on pole with Gerlandi Haki right beside him. And we're underway then. It looks as though Juiceman didn't get the best of starts, and it's going to be Haki going around the inside then into the lead. But Hakimi on the grass, he actually wanted to go the long way around. We have a cleaner start in race 2 compared to race 1, don't we think, Alex?
Yeah, it did. But look at the cars going around. Jonathan Takumi, wow, he's had a great start. Up to P4 as well. He's taking a couple positions right now.
We had a car on the gravel there.
Yeah. Okay, so come through the two Ferraris, Jonathan Takumi lead, followed by Amaru right now. Let's go on board with Amaru right now so we can see how he's going. Okay.
Yep. Now we are going to see if he can actually make a move here up in front of Jonathan Takumi.
And that's Hakimi. We're just right now. That's on him on board right now. Hakimi there up to P3 as he tries to get a bit further up. Okay, back now with Amaraf.
Oh! Big off. Big off here. Did he catch it before he goes and gets a penalty? Yes, he does. And behind him, that was actually Amir Harris. So Harris then had to take evasive action, avoiding a car right in front of him. And he fell right behind Mohammed Irfan. Takes to the grass again. And this is this might actually give him a penalty. Yes, he does. He has to back it off. If he slows it a bit to about 5 seconds, that will be enough. So, oh no, he's going to have to lose it even more then because he probably got a penalty prior to that. Now he gets back on the front.
Wow. Disaster for I think right now. Back at the front though, Haki is in the front. Hakimi there, P4 right now. He's in the McLaren. He's in the slipstream. Can he get in front of Takumi Lee before turn 2? Oh, yes, looks like he's going to drag him into turn 1, turn 2. Down the inside, good move. No, Jonathan Takumi Lee just breaks super late and sweeps around the outside of him and holds on to P3.
Good racecraft there from Takumi. Then he knows how to just fend off another driver, doesn't he? We've seen it quite a few times in the past as well, how he can fend off drivers. But now he's going to have to fend off a guy who's probably feeling like he's got fired as many after what happened in race number 1. Don't you think, Alex?
Yes, definitely. He's got a point to prove. He wouldn't have been happy to start at race 2. But he knows he has the time, and there's only 3 cars in front of him, and I think he's quite confident he has the pace to get to the front. He just needs to be patient.
Yep, and he knows that he has a favorite overtaking spot that was time irrelevant to number 2, officially on the track for us. He has made it possible around the outside. Now he's trying to do it maybe inside or anywhere he goes, so long as he gets the move done. And for the time being, at least, he's going to have to contend with drivers in front, including the likes of Ahmad Juiceman, Gerlandi Haki, and Jonathan Takumi Lee that he battled with just now.
Okay, Juiceman holding on to P2 right now. I thought he was looking inside for the chicane. Oh, what's the slow down penalty? My gosh, that's so scary when you have to slow down like that. Haki drops right back.
And you do not want to do that, especially when you have so many drivers right behind you, because that is so dangerous. We saw Adrian do the same thing as well, coming through Rivazza. He just stopped the car right below the racing line, and the driver behind had nowhere to go but to just hit him. Adam Daniel, incidentally. So that has not, you know, some drivers have not learned to go out of the way, like compared to Mohammed Irfan. Irfan's moved out of the way to actually give time back. And again, Hakimi on our second screen there, we're looking at him. He was trying to duck in and take the slipstream. He does it sometimes actually, but in the cases that we do see it, we just missed it. But we did see him in Mugello how he just tucked in.
Yeah. So he's trying really hard. He's got to get the correct exit at the last corner though. He did not get the exit he needed on this lap. Oh, sorry, the lap before. So now on this lap, he's going to just focus and try and be there, and especially clean to that third sector.
Yep. But this is it now at the front, isn't it? Look at that. Top four different manufacturers. If Haki could have been closer had it not been for that penalty. But Jusmin is just a linchpin right now, holding on to the lead. Jusmin did that in the previous race, remember? He tried to fend off from Amir Rafiq that time, and he got whacked into the barriers. Now, Jusmin is doing the exact same thing, but at least he's got it. No, in fact, it was actually Amir Harris. But either way, he's defending on the inside. That's what he wanted to do in race 1. Couldn't do it properly. Now, is Jonathan Takumi on the inside. They're going side by side here. Door handle to door handle, almost touring car style. And Takumi spins it. Can he save it? Yes, he does. What a brilliant save. Great save there, but he's going to get a penalty from that for sure.
Yeah, Jusman there being just, that's actually changes the direction down the straight. That was not on, if you ask me. Very dangerous indeed. And that's why he got spun out in race 1, really. It's just weaving down the straight, basically.
Again, evidently he's done it again. So, yeah, he might need a talking to the stewards here, because he really was on the cusp of what was actually legal and right in the grey zone, isn't it? He was just like that.
Yeah. You can't do last-minute changes in direction, even if they're small. When you're following a car like that, you're really relying on them to stay stationary. If you just move a couple inches there, you catch someone off. It's always going to be a big problem. Okay, look at that.
Yes, we finally caught him in the wild there, Hakimi, but unfortunately he wasn't that close that time to catch up to Jusmi, because his exit through Rivazza 2 again has not been able to get up to it. So he actually does that on impulse by the looks of it. So we did see it in Mugello how he was doing it. Now he's doing it again here at the final straight through Variante Bassa. It does have a corner name actually. Remember, the Variante Bassa used to be chicane. Now it's just a king.
Okay, so Jusman that's holding on to the lead right now. Cleaner first half of the lap compared to the lap before, and holding on to the lead, shall we say. There's Takumi lead, recovering after his spin right on the back of Ramdani. Ramdani, he's been very quiet. Let's see, he's got the pace to run at the front. Let's see if he can make some moves here. As Takumi Lee has to keep an eye on his mirrors, because Harris there is all over the back of him.
Big slide out of Piratella, and even bigger second slide there. But luckily, again, in both occasions, he did not crash into the side of somebody. We did see how well that was actually, he controlled it. Imran Harris, I'm not sure if they're both related. He's out of the race now, so he's parked it up. It's looking at, is that Cameron James? Yeah, Cameron James actually lining one up on Grilland Haki. So that's 2 Audis in a row, line astern there, trying to overtake. But Cameron, no issues just yet.
He's got to add a bit more consistency to his speed. He can just be a bit more consistent, a bit more like a metronome. Metronome. One of those consonants, anyway. Through these corners, he will be. Oh, that's a Takumi Lee. Spinning out behind him.
Such a promising start to the race, wasn't it? That he was up there, but that big scare where he tried to overtake Jusmin probably was enough to spook him completely. And there he goes, out of it. Of a potential podium, and now out of the points too.
Shame there, back to third position though. There's Haki there having a good fight with Cameron James. This is going to be a good one, and of course Ramdani there in P5 coming to join the party as well in the BMW. And they've got to be careful here, because Ramdani, it's not just quick, he's smooth and consistent, and if he picks his moments well, I think he'll get through these 2 cars.
Also, you have to remember, chasing is one thing, but overtaking is another. That's the old adage that we all say. So when you have 2 equally fast guys right in front, it might be even trickier to do that. James actually might have opened up the door for Ramdani there, and guess what? It does. Kanzani picks out the pieces from what was actually a robust overtaking maneuver there from Cameron James.
Yeah, just completely caught Haki there by surprise. A little bit of contact. You could say Robbins Racing, but I think James just about got away with that.
Yeah, he might have done so, but at the expense of the fact that the car is now slightly damaged with the fact that Kamzani Ramdani is coming back in. As we're going to go back to Muhammad Hakimi here. He's actually riding up in front with Ahmad Jusmin, and now we get to see him do his tucking in technique again.
Yeah, he's going to be kissing the steering wheel as he comes out this last corner.
We'll keep an eye on this.
Maybe does a bit of go-karting. So he's going for the shortest distance, interestingly enough. He's not looking at the slipstream from his competitor. Just been taking a very weird line through these last, down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, you want to actually just get as close as possible to the barriers, actually. That's the shortest run to the line, as we see a battle for the behind it as Irfan and Haki. But, oh, he didn't do it that time round, unfortunately. He was caught in the act on how he does the tuck in, but that's quite nice, actually. He actually has that instinct like a karter, where you just want to tuck in like a motorcyclist to get the slipstream on top of your helmet and body to be faster. So Hakimi has actually brought it into sim racing in this instance. But regardless of that, battle up in front is very close, Alex.
Well, just been defending super easy, super early. Obviously wasn't happy with the exit out of the Villeneuve chicane. And look at that. Hakimi now going to be on the outside for Piratella. But at least Jusmin is defending early in the straight instead of doing the last minute turns at the end of the straight. Making it very clear. Hakimi thinks about the outside, not close enough, not able to do it. Jusmin just holds on for now.
Yep. This might be a good opportunity now to actually get into the onboard here. Lap 6 out of a potential lap 9, 9-lap or 10-lap race. We have had good battles so far here, and it's a cleaner race compared to race number 1 where we had all sorts of mayhem all through the field. This is a battle for now the win. Oh, that's a big mistake there from Jusmin. And Hakimi likewise also has actually gone a bit wide there. Hopefully he didn't get a penalty from that one, because we might be robbed of what is actually a barn-stopping finish. And it's going to get even better right now, because look at further behind. Cameron James is on his mirrors. And then Ramdani. And then Irfan. And then Haki. And then Haris. It's 7 in a row in essence. Look at that. 7 cars in the shot. Oh no, Irfan has actually gone off again.
Another slowdown. Okay, Hakimi there deciding to use the slipstream now instead of the shortest line. Oh, he's going to have to drag. Let's go back onto the cockpit camera right now. Will he dive to the inside? Will he sell a dummy? No, he's just going to try and go around the outside.
Oh, we got to see if he actually pulls this off. Jusmin blocks him off. He goes on to the sausage curves, and that allows Cameron James around the outside to take him with Ramdani on the inside. Oh, that's actually nearly 2 for 1 there for Hakimi, the type of 2 for 1 that he did not want. And, well, manages to hold on for now. This is a great finish to the race, isn't it? 4 minutes left to go. It's anybody's game, Alex.
Oh, they're going to Jusmin there with another last-minute change of direction. That's really naughty. I think he's going to be in a bit of trouble, really.
Yes, indeed. A bit of trouble with this, though, given the fact that there are certain rules that you need to adhere to. And in racing, one of them is not to move when you're in the middle of the line. Now he's going to have to pay for that in the big way. Oh, he's actually taking out Hakimi as well. And another driver spins. 3 cars out, all in one go. Where is everybody going to go here? We were on for a 7-car finish. Now it's been broken up.
That looked a bit dodgy, because it looked like he's trying to go to the inside to cut Cameron off after he made the mistake and just paid for it because he spun off by himself. So maybe a bit of a justice served there, but wow, some dodgy driving there from Jusmin for the last few laps.
Oh yes, and it looks as though karma made at him big time, shall we see. Yeah, probably just desserts, but it was just along the line of being clean.
Yeah, it doesn't matter right now. Anyway, back to the front. Cameron James is in the front, but he's got a very fast Ramdani behind him. Okay, he's had a decent exit out of the last corner. He needs to not drive in his mirrors. Just needs to focus on the driving. You can just focus on the driving. 2 more laps, maybe a lap. And that, yeah, basically 2 more laps to go. He just needs to focus on the driving, look in front, and just keep it clean.
And he could get his first win of the season as well. Get one of his chief championship rival coming into this round. So Ramdani and James were tied on points, 34, with Amir Haris a further point behind. Looks as though Amir may not have had the best round here. As apologies if anyone saw any profanity that came from Hakimi's screen just now, because you can see how livid he was being taken out by Jusmin.
Yeah, and I don't blame Hakimi, because really he didn't do anything wrong there. Um, that's- yeah, anyway. Hakimi there, P6 though, he can still get some good points here. Ramdani though, he got a bit of sideways out of Tosa, didn't he? So
Yeah.
give Cameron James a little bit of breathing room.
Yep, but you can see how good that BMW regains back at that time and reels him in. 6 tenths, 5 tenths now, in fact, coming up to Aqua Minerali. It looks as though James then might be feeling under the cosh here in just the last couple of laps. He needs just one more lap to go here to claim his first victory of the season and recoup some lost points after what you can safely say was a bit of a disappointing end to the first race because he really ran out of steam mid-race.
Let's go on board with Ramdani. Ramdani is getting impatient. He knows he's got to go one more lap, and basically his best chance is going to come in a couple of corners time.
Whoa!
A bit of rear locking under the brakes. He's got to get a good exit out this last corner.
Yep, let's see if he does. I'll tell you what, it's 50-50. In fact, both just got really scruffy exits.
Yeah, wasn't the best exit either. He is in the slipstream though. Yeah, let's see how quick this BMW is in the straight line. The Audi's pretty good in the straight line as well. Don't think he's going to be close enough by turn 1.
Yep. And in fact, James actually did a dink across a bit, but comes back onto his racing line. So that's the way that Jusmin should have done, rather than try to move middle of the course and try to shove someone onto the grass. And to their detriment, it has happened to be on the receiving end, but then Jusmin just goes off himself big time. So let's see if Ramdani avoids the mistakes that his teammate made in the BR1 BMW.
Defending into Tosa. He must have had a bad exit out of Villeneuve chicane because I didn't think he needed to defend into Tosa.
Yep.
Give Ramdani with a good exit. God, James has to be careful here. Should he defend? I don't think Ramdani's close enough. He needs to be calm here. If he starts defending too early, it's going to give Ramdani a chance.
Yep. And in fact, he doesn't have to really defend too hard coming through Aqua Minerali because you really don't want to overtake and have two cars here anyway. Chicane, same as well. He probably can go a bit narrow, but not too much. Or you might say that is actually quite wide. And if you got a penalty there, that's actually quite a heartbreaking way to finish this race, Alex.
I hope he doesn't, because that will be heartbreaking. Oh, Ramdani gets on the grass, almost goes on the back of Cameron James. But yeah, James, that was, if he does get a penalty, it'll be for being quite careless through Aqua Minerali, because he didn't need to let the car go that wide. Has to defend into Rivazza though.
No, it doesn't. He actually did think about it, but again, looks as though the top end for that Audi can match what the BMW has to offer. And look at that, James has actually managed to fend off Ramdani. So a run up to the line, it's going to be very close, but it looks as though it's going to be Cameron James to the flag, winning in race number 2 in front of his Chief Championship rival. He breaks the air in the light. In fact, you can see the brakes come on for a second. He is flashing his lights, so he's happy with that one. Across the line as well, Ramdani and James had a close finish. Haki in front as well by 2/10 of a second. Hakimi dives his way into his steering wheel again to get some slipstream across the line. He finishes 5th after being taken out also at 1 point. Adiasta in 6th, 7th Wijaja, 8th Jusmin, and 9th is Amirafi. So Jusmin managed to recover up to the top 10 as well. And Hakimi bangs his hand on the steering wheel. Oh, well, you can sense the disappointment in his face there. You can tell he had the race in hand, but it's unfortunate that, again, outside factors wasn't out of his doing that actually caused him to spin.
Okay, so that was a pretty exciting race. Great fun. Unfortunately, we don't have Ramdani or Cameron James on the...
But we don't have Hakimi on board, and we would love to hear a lot of words from him.
Yeah, let's try and talk to Hakimi right now, shall we? Let's see if we can talk to him a bit now. Ask Hakimi to unmute himself. Let's see if we can get some volume going. Hakimi, can you hear us? Okay, we can't quite...
Yep, I think I can hear him just now. Hakimi, can you hear us?
Yeah, we...
All right, so Hakimi, commiserations on race number 2. I think it looked like you had the pace to actually catch up there. But before we go into that, the tucking in thing is a Carter thing, isn't it? You really love to tuck in on the straights.
Yeah.
Indeed, we love to see every time you're on camera that we get to zoom in on that. Now, to go into race number 2, that looked quite nip and tuck, isn't it? It looks as though Jusmin may have been a bit in a grey area on how he could have defended right. Because, again, you were really frustrated towards the end. You could have had the race in the bag there, don't you think?
Okay, well, thanks very much, and good luck for the next round.
Well, his you can see his body language there. He knew he had it in the bag, but thumping his steering wheel, he was really disappointed by that. But glad to see that he recovered very well to get back up to the top 5 in the end, because you might think after a hit like that, you would not be coming back at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So, good result anyway, some excellent racing. We're going to go for a quick short break. We've had bronze, we've had copper, we've had bronze, and we're back with gold and silver.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor.
Okay, welcome back. We are here, eRacing GP Global Edition 12. This is round 2 of 4. We've had the copper class, we've had the bronze class, and now we've got gold and silver coming up. We're at Imola, aren't we, Emma?
Yep, indeed. The Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy will be playing host to the second round of the season. And we've had a good couple of classes worth of races, 4 races to be exact, that we had from them, and they were absolute barnstormers, especially the bronze race just now. Race number 2 was an absolute classic, we can safely say. It was just a battle all the way to the line. Now we get to see the cream of the crop here go at it for the Formula 1 cars around the circuit, the F2007 and the McLaren MP122.
That's right, watch Haris Shami there leaving the pit. Oh, listen to that sound. Gosh, I've missed that sound of the old Formula 1 cars. I've not heard that sound for a while. Wasn't here for round 1 of Global Edition 12, and they do sound great. We are the silver and the gold class here. Let's have a look at the standings now for silver. Kelvin Powell in first, Justin Tan in second, Mohamed Zikri there in third position. On to the gold class standings. A new name I've not seen before.
Yep.
Well,
we saw in endurance. The Mario Hasnam for the MPRGP team. He won basically the endurance in the second one was in Bathurst, and then he won also in Mugello. So he made it 2 ERGP races. He won in both different championships. He had a good first round. He had a clean sweep. Pole position, fastest lap race 1, win in race 1, fastest lap race 2, win race 2 as well. So that's why he has 49 points.
Axel Mariano, Nocom there in second, and Roy Ripperip, who was the silver class champion there in third position.
And he will have to make it back-to-back-to-back titles, but against the Mario Hasnam, who's been very fast, he'll have his work cut out. In the team standings, it's Biff Racing in front of Stratos Motorsports and MPRGP. So the 3 pace setters up in front are all up there, and we'll probably see after this, Biff Racing might actually stretch out the lead because they had so many drivers involved in all the classes.
The Nations Cup there, Malaysia on top. They've won this obviously several times. Second is Indonesia, Philippines in third. Philippines has won as well, but Indonesia there has not won. Could this be the first time that they win?
Well, we'll have to wait and see if that was to be the case. But for the time being, at least, it's actually good that we have so many drivers from the countries involved in the fight up there as well. So we're in practice right now. The Mario Hasnam is actually out on track. He will have to be setting the pace both in the qualifying and the races after this. Now he's 19.2, a good 4/10 of a second in front of Iradi Vishnu, as we have Keith Moe on cam, and he has, we saw in our social media post how the wind affects his hair is flowing in. Now he's actually having here again. Look at that. The wind actually does sort of react to the way that he turns into the corners. It's as if he's not wearing a helmet at all.
That's very cool indeed. But what do you talk to us about the cars right now? Obviously, gold class are in the Ferraris, and that's what Hasnan is driving. It's the 2007 model, isn't it?
Yeah, both are 2007 models, made by the venerable VRC team, the Virtual Racing Cars team, and they made it quite well here today with the F2007 and, of course, the MP422. You can tell the difference between two cars by the aerodynamic bits, because in this era in F1, all the cars just look like they were festooned with all sorts of aerodynamic bits just to get the extra bit of aerodynamic grip through the corners, and this is the case of one of them. This is the McLaren, incidentally, but colored in the Renault cars. Yeah. In Renault colors with that's Heikki Kovalainen.
Yes. Oh gosh, it's really good to see the these cars from yesteryear. Gosh, it puts a smile on your face whenever you hear the sound of these cars.
Yep.
Wow.
And
McLaren.
Yeah, both V8s. And also you can tell which is the different two cars, because the McLaren had like a bit of a streak at the front of carbon fiber that helps with the aerodynamics in front, whereas the Ferrari didn't have the horns on the side. So those are the subtle differences you can pick up as we go. But we tried experimenting last time out with the Formula 2 cars. Maybe the pay difference was probably a bit too big, wasn't it?
That's right. We put silver glass in the GP2 cars, which is just too slow, really. They ended up getting lapped and getting in the way. So we changed it around for this round. Gold will drive the Ferrari, and silver will drive in the McLaren, which is in shot. And don't just get confused, it's a Renault livery on a McLaren for Kelvin Powell.
Yeah, it does become like that because he wants to offset by the fact that most mods don't come with full season designs of all the cars. So that's why we tend to have colors of cars that look about the same. In fact, the Renault does look like the McLaren anyway, with the aerodynamic bits up in front. Yeah. But yeah, and the fact that the Ferrari in this particular instance is actually faster in qualifying. We tried to put ballast on it, was still quite fast. So might as well just give the Ferrari the go-kart, being part of the go-karts, and it'll be way faster than the others. Whereas the McLaren is more raceable. It can be put into the silver class. So that's kind of like the explanation why we have only the F1 2007 cars here.
Yeah, okay. So we're just about to go to qualifying. It's going to be hard to see anyone getting close to Hasnan, isn't it? I think Hasnan's looks very quick so far. But it's a different track now. We were at Mugello, and now we're at Imola.
Yep.
And let's see how it goes.
And the fact that I think it was Roy Ripprip that said the fastest lap in the end in practice was a 19 flat. So, wow. Roy Ripprip also is coming up and turning up to join the party.
Okay, we are in qualifying now. Well, it's just about starting.
Yep. It's starting now.
Let's see. Who shall we follow first?
Well, we're trying to find Mohammed Zikri right now, and I don't think we have him on board here at the moment.
Wow, a lot of white cars out there.
Yeah, I think I'm fortunate that we don't have everyone in delivery apart from Calvin Powell. Calvin actually had delivery on for that car, and we actually have now Damari Hasnam on track. So some drivers left the pit first, and incidentally, it's Keith Moe. So Keith in McLaren is out first in the silver class.
Let's go on board with Keith Moe then. Let's see, there he is. Comes down to Portella. Oh, this corner would be amazing in a Formula 1 car for sure. And of course, Acqua Minerale as well. You just kind of throw it in through here. The front just bites. You know, Formula 1 cars have a lot of oversteer. And Imola's the kind of track where you feel that oversteer because the downforce, especially through Piratella and Acqua Minerale, you just kind of, you throw the car in, kind of turn the steering wheel as fast as you can, and it feels like the rear will never in a million years keep up with the front, but somehow it does. And that's what makes Imola so exciting to drive. I wonder if it's exciting to drive big, heavy Formula 1 cars now. Maybe not, but the era of these cars, it was certainly very, very special.
Indeed. It's basically how well you can actually flick the cars around the corner and then it just sticks, doesn't it? Despite having grooved tires.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Keith Moe then, braking to turn 2. Tamburello, this complex turn 3 and 4. Easy flat for turn 4. Now Burner chicane. Oh, will he brake? No, just a lift and down a gear. Softly bit on the brakes for the right-hander. Now to Tosa. Rotate the car a little bit wide. Not such a good exit. That's going to cost some time, but he'll have more than one lap to get done. And with these groove tires, okay, Piratella, boom, down a gear, carry that speed. And now we go to Acqua Minerale in a Formula 1 car. It's one of the best corners in the world, to be honest. Look at that. Just turn in on full throttle before lifting off. And then ever so slightly on the brakes for the second part of it. Massive, massive, massive. We are on groove tires as it goes through the chicane now. This is not real life, so the tires should last 5 minutes quite easily. But in those days, you only had one lap before the rubber started to ball up. You'd get graining on those front tires, and we will start losing a lot of that time. Through Ravazza now. Yep, good exit out of the last corner. So he's got a good exit to finish the lap. He needs to also start the next lap very well. And let's see if he carries on.
There's a 120.7, so that's about the ballpark where the McLaren should be. 19.6 for Sai Suzuka. So Suzuka then in the Ferrari manages to break into the 19s, and he is actually around the same ballpark as Roy Ripprip was. He is 19.4. So we have to wait what the other guys do. In fact, where is the Indonesian, the Mario Hasnam? Hasnam across the line, goes to pole position 19 flat. So he's about the same lap time as Roy Ripprip. We're going to have to focus on where Ripprip is going to be. He's actually being held up by traffic.
I wonder if the car's going to start. Yeah, he's probably going to get some wash now, isn't he? Yeah, big air wash. Yeah, that's a good idea. He's going to back off and try and go again. He needs a gap. No point staying there. Smart drive by Ripprip. Okay, there's a nice big gap. Off you go again because you don't want to get caught up by the car behind.
Yep. So we're going to have to focus our minds back onto the Mario Hasnam. He's actually immediately right behind his chief rival on track here, Roy Ripprip. We have a view of Hasnam now. There he is. He's actually having a good streaming setup.
Yeah. And, oh, that is a great setup. Looks like he's set up for streaming like you mentioned. Maybe he does a talk show in his spare time. Maybe we should get him to do us a lap later so we can have a hot lap for the next race. Don't know if we don't have a delta in the Assetto Corsa. It's a shame about that. But I got a feeling he's probably going to go a little bit quicker this lap.
Yep, through Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2. Yeah, that's a good exit. That's about as good as it could be coming out of there. He's got Roy Ripprip up in front, but Ripprip is already winding up to start another lap. Across the line goes Hasnam. It's an 18.5. Oh, yeah. Take that, everybody else, doesn't it? He really is setting the pace up in front.
Oh, he looks happy with that. Great lap there. Roy Ripperip, though, quite interesting, taking the wide light down the start-finish straight, which is a smart thing to do because it increases your distance to the start-finish line, means he's got time to pick up speed. It's a perfect way to start the lap. Looks very good through Sector 1 by Ripperip right now. Through Tosa, looks like he's hit his marks, got the apex, looks like a decent exit as well. And Hasenhausen is still pushing as well. But we got to stay with Roy Ripperip right here. He's on the front row. He needs to find 6/10 if he's going to challenge for pole position. This looks like a tidy lap so far, though. Looks like a tidy lap. We don't have the delta, but this, I think, is going to be an improvement. He's down to P4 right now, so Ripperip does need to have a strong ending to this lap. We're riding on board with him right now. It looks like a good lap. It should be good enough to get him onto the front row, but big question, though, is it good enough to get him to P1?
Yeah, you're right on that one. Let's see if he does. Look at that, the amount of luck that he puts into the corners. I think in this era, because there's not much tread on the tires, you have to actually really screw the wheel around. And unfortunately, not enough to get onto the front row even. He's behind Sai Suzuka. Suzuka out of nowhere actually has done an absolutely brilliant lap. He did said earlier, but we didn't mention it. Now we mentioned it. It's a 19.1 out of our sights. Hasenhausen 18.4. 7/10 clear up in front.
And let's see, where's Hasan? He's going to start getting the dirty air of Ripperip, so there's a big question mark if he can improve. And Sudaha, though, wow, I wonder if he's still using the controller. He's got a steering wheel now, has he?
Yep,
that's good.
I'll be very surprised if he does still perform this well on the controller anyway, so there's that.
Yeah, no way. The cars are way too quick to do. Never say never, but I would imagine the cars are too quick to be this quick on the controller.
He did win last season with the controller, though, and he was in the Formula 1 guys in every two.
You are right. We were in the Formula 1 car for last season, weren't we?
So the Jordan 191 may be a bit slower.
Yeah, well, it's actually,
yeah.
It's still about, what, 15 seconds a lap slower than these cars?
Yeah, they're kind of like around GP and Formula 2 laps nowadays, but still, they're quite mighty beasts to drive. They just are almost uncontrollable.
Comes out to the start-finish line, both these drivers. Does he improve? Can he get up to the front row? He only needs a small improvement.
Yes, he does! 18.8! What a final lap from Roy! You thought that he actually was not going to make it there, but now he does. So he manages to one out Suzuka, but he's still 0.4 of a second behind Hasenhausen.
Okay, that was a really exciting qualifying. Hasenhausen on pole. And Ripperip second. Who takes the silver class qualifying pole? Keith Moe, P7. Yeah. But number 1 for silver class. We'll have to keep an eye on that as well. That will be interesting to watch.
Yep, but wow, interesting session there, because we thought Roy might have actually been a bit spooked by the fact that Hasenhausen actually set a stonking lap, but he's the only other driver in the 18s, and that's about the ballpark figures for these cars anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Ripperip just did, he was under the cosh, doesn't he? He had the second lap messed up. He could see Hasenhausen in his mirrors as well, but he kept it cool. Went a bit quicker in lap 2, and lap 3 put himself in the front row. That's the main thing, and let's see if he gets the right start. The start's going to be key. You can overtake here at Imola. It just depends how bad the dirty air is as well. And I don't think the dirty air is too bad, really.
Yeah, it's not simulated as much as, say R Factor 2. That the dirty air game is very strong, I can tell you that. And I've driven these 2007 cars, the 2021 cars, where the dirty air was at its worst.
Yep.
But yeah, it's frankly possible to follow these cars around.
Okay. Qualifying is over. The car's on the grid. We got a minute and a half before we start this race. You can see, actually, go board and let's have a look at some of the drivers as they get ready right now. There is Keith Moe, looking very good. He's on pole for silver class, just keeping his cool, keeping his calm. His father, Rick, will be there, of course, giving some last-minute words of advice.
And taking on some fluids as well, because we've known that some of these racer dads really supported us, as they actually give a lot of attention to them. Remember in E1 where Kalen Chin had a drink in the race.
That's right.
So we can tell these are very supportive dads, and that's what we like to see, even in grassroots level or in sim racing. You just see the parents being supportive of their children.
We saw it in E1, didn't we? As Kalen coming in for one of his pit stops and took a quick drink. Don't think he won that race, but he was leading. Very dramatic race. Shanghai, if I remember correctly. But anyway, let's go across continents. Go to Asia. We are in Asia, of course, but virtually we are in Europe, in Italy, at Imola.
Yep, the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy. We are viewing now a very interesting top 10 here. Well, top 7 among the gold class guys. Jasmine Tan in there between it. I think Jasmine actually is racing in the silver class as well, so he managed to reel his car in front of one of the gold guys. But either way, that aside, we're ready to go racing here in Imola. Lights on the gantry will come on pretty soon. When they go on, yep, they're on now. 6 lights on the gantry, 5 lights in Imola. We got a jump start already. We don't know who that is. That might have been Francis Angelo Gonzalez, but we're underway now. And Demario Hasnam leads the field across the line here to start race number 1 for round 2 for gold and silver.
Wow. See, lots of cars. Some of them going wide.
Ooh. Multiple cars go gravel tracking as opposed to grass tracking. As now we see Alia Wafi Priyanatha was actually one of those guys that actually recovered. Roy Riprit dropped the position, a couple of positions in fact. He gets hit! Oh, he gets a massive hit from behind there from Alia Wafi Priyanatha. But luckily, he is still managing to hold on to it. He's lost a position, but either way, he's lost a big time there. Danish Aram's into the gravel trap.
Anyway, I don't know why we're seeing a map right now. That is a bit confusing. But we're coming back to the two-way shot right now. And Dario Hasnan is in the lead.
Yep, Demario Hasnan 1.1 seconds in front of Ariadi Vishnu. Vishnu, his teammate there in second place. Third is Sai Sudhakar. Oh, Demario Hasnam spun! Hasnam has actually dropped it through the Variante Alta. He had a 1.1 second lead. Now it's Ariadi Vishnu in front. Sudhakar second, Priyanatha third. Race is on now, Alex. The perfect record is on the line.
Yes, Hasnan there. Oh, maybe just a little bit too complacent until, oh, locks up as well. Oh!
Spins a second time. He's losing this race already.
Yeah.
He's dropped it behind Calvin Powell. So, what has happened to Demario Hasnam? The car is not underneath him.
Yeah, obviously when you spin like that, also the tire temps shoot up, and you have to take it easy for a few corners to allow the tires to cool down. I think it's just a little bit too greedy to Ravatsa and spun a second time.
Renata going in front of Jasmine Tan. Jasmine actually is the pole sitter for the silver class because, of course, remember, it's the McLarens that we are looking out for the silver guys. And he is now under pressure from Keith. Oh, Keith about 0.4 of a second behind here, trying to chase after Alia Wafi Priyanatha. Priyanatha in the gold class, of course, is overtaken. But the real big story right now is Demario Hasnam is actually now trying to reel back the lost time here after what was 2 avoidable mistakes that sent him all the way back to the cusp of the top 10.
Actually, Francis Gonzalez, silver class leader at the moment. He is a P4 overall. He must have had a fantastic start. P4 overall, and he's now leading silver class.
Yep, I still think, apart from Danish Aram, because Danish went to the pits just now, maybe that was the jump starter. Oh, a spin! Priyanatha! Priyanatha has actually dropped it. So he's dropped it through Variante Alta. He's going to get swamped up by the field now. Okay,
let's go to the gold class leader right now. Vishnu there, leading nicely as they go across the start-finish line. In P2 is Sudhakar, and a Rip in third.
Yep, and that's 1, 2, 3 across the line. Rip might be lucky, counting his lucky stars right now because he didn't have the best of starts. He got a big old whack behind, but still, he's happy now to be running in the top 3, just a couple seconds behind his pursuers.
Okay, look at the inset there on the bottom right there. There is Vishnu from Indonesia. He's got a perfect chance to win his first race in ERGP, leading nicely. Gosh, he's it's still a long way to go. 12 minutes, 11 and a half minutes to go, but he's definitely looking good.
Yep, looking good indeed as we have a battle for P8 overall, but this is actually among the 2 classes because that is the silver class against the gold class. Balagulan against Calvin Powell. Oh, Calvin actually is liking his chances here. He wants to keep a faster guy behind, but he has to realize he may not be racing here for points amongst the guy who's actually in the class anyway, so he'll have to give that up a bit just so he doesn't he actually avoids getting into an unnecessary accident.
Nice move there by Balagulan. That's an overall position he's taken. He still needs to get up further though, because he is in the gold class and he does not want to be that far back. Let's see what's happening to Hasnam, because there he is, gets good exit at the last corner. Look, you can see his competitors ahead of him. The 2 silver class drivers should be quite short work. Should be able to get past those guys relatively easily before he can try and get back to the battle for the top 3.
And remember, these are also really fast guys because Jasmine, we saw how he literally jumped up the class as well, along with Tanzani Ramdani in just one race, so he's no slouch. Francis Angelo Gonzalez, it looks like he's been in Silbo since forever, to be honest, but he is proving to be quite competitive. And so as I said that, they're gonna have an accident.
Oh my gosh, and he takes out Hasman as well. Jeez.
That's Gonzalez off.
Dear, oh dear.
Open my mouth and I'll be pleased. I can't believe that just happened, as I'm just waxing lyrical about this.
Gosh, this has been, you know, we talk about the commentator's curse, but this has been an unusual day as far as commentator's cursing has been going on. You've been doing a really good job, Amo. Okay.
Anyway. Oh, something happened to Vishnu. Vishnu spun it. Sudakar's off the track. Roy Ripper takes the lead, and Hasnam takes the both of them, I think. No, he's just up to the P3. But I'm seeing on the second screen right now that Ariadi Vishnu was actually turning his wheel on, and I thought that's not a way to do it. And guess what? He's actually lost out big time now. He's lost the lead to Roy Rip, and he has his teammate for company.
Yep, he's still there in P2 at the moment, but everyone's going to be looking at Roy Rip right now, because this is the man in the lead from the Philippines. Our silver class winner from the previous season is leading the gold class.
Yep, Roy Rip. And incidentally, he's got quite a nice steering wheel from seeing from our second screen right now. Santander color, so you can tell he's supporting Ferrari big time, but his pictures as he is shared online is in a Red Bull racing suit, so 50-50 I guess. You know which era that you support, which team is. But fortunately we cannot get Roy on camera right now. It seems as though there's a problem with his camera, so we'll leave him at that. Now we see Vishnu being overtaken by Hasnam, and there you go, just off our cameras, that we have Damari Hasnam take second place. So a good recovery drive, and it's still possible here with 8.5 minutes left to go as Vishnu takes another spin. Oh, that's not what you want, and it might be an incoming penalty for him.
Dear, oh dear, he's going from good to not so good. He's got a slow down penalty as well, which allows the silver class leader, Jasmine Tan, to go to third place overall.
Yep, and just he's winding the car back up. He's got the rest of the guys battling through to come up at him. This is Calvin Powell, second in silver. Around the outside, he's battling among the gold guys, mind you. Oh, there's a hit! It's a big one, and he's off into the gravel into Rivata too. Hopefully he recovers quite well. Yes, he's being sensible, but to his detriment, he loses a lot of time there. He could have actually backed it off and let the gold guys through, and he's just going to take it out.
Yeah, but that was definitely Vishnu's fault in my view. You can't overtake in the second Rivazza like that. Nowhere near alongside, and just punted Kelvin Powell out. That's definitely the sort of issue that I would protest on.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if it's among classes, you know that for a fact that points in your own race have been taken away by virtue of being hit by a guy that's not even in your class. You could have been much careful. It's a two-way street, you might add, but it's just that you need to have bilateral understanding in that regard. Well, that's a good gaggle of cars we're seeing right now. This is like P4 all the way to P9, all the way from Sudakar to Priyanatha.
Good gaggle cars. Noisy mosquitoes flying furiously around the Imola track. And what a great track. Look at those elevation changes. So much fun indeed to drive, especially in these cars.
Yep, and the noisy mosquitoes are the type that you're at least welcome to hear rather than actual mosquitoes in your face.
Very true indeed. Okay, there's a good battle there going in fifth position. Keith Moe, who is in second in silver class, just getting overtaken by Balagulan from gold. Yeah, Keith will not be pleased with this. He'll be wanting to win silver, but his competitor for the win in silver is quite far up the road. Jasmine Tan, P3 overall, but leading silver class. Keith looks like he's there, nice and calm through this and banging on going behind him between Granata and Gonzalez. Oh, this looks like it's been sorted out. Back at the front though, Rip still leading nicely at this point. 20.4 on the last lap. That's a decent lap time.
3.3 seconds ahead of Hasnam this time around, so Hasnam has been reeling him in despite having his early race troubles. We saw it just now, maybe he just lit up the tires a bit. Yeah, he hit the curb on the inside coming out of the first Variante Alta. lit up the tires, got hot, tried to actually get as fast as possible the second time, but then dropped it the second time. So luckily for him, it's been a good recovery, and he has done well to get it back up to second. Roy, though, has to watch out here. He needs to get as many clean laps as possible as he could so that he could stay in front of a fast-charging Indonesian.
Yeah, and it's can't afford to miss apexes like he just did in those last two corners from Rivata. He needs to keep it clean because Hasanam is closing that gap quite quickly indeed.
Yeah, I think we got his camera back on now. It doesn't look as bad as it is in our second monitor, so I think from afar it just looks quite fine. So there you go, that's that Santander sign that I was talking about. He actually pasted it on top of the steering wheel, so that's a homage to Ferrari right there. Even though by the looks of it, he is a Red Bull fan. Regardless, he's driving in a champion's car, and he'll be hoping that he's doing a champion's drive right now to keep the win.
Yeah, still a long way to go in this race. Let's go down to third position right now. Sudhakar back into P3. And what has happened to Jasmine Tan?
Oh, Jasmine, yeah. He was in the lead in the silver class. Probably dropped it, or probably it was a penalty. It was probably a penalty by the looks of it.
That's a huge penalty because you look how much time he's dropped. At least, gosh, 20, 30 seconds?
Maybe he overran it because sometimes there is a secondary penalty after losing the slow penalty, which is 20 seconds. You have to come to almost a dead stop. Don't touch the throttle at all. If you touch it a bit, it goes back up to 20 seconds.
That is a nightmare scenario. I can't imagine how frustrating that is. Let's go down to Keith Moe then. Keith Moe is now in the silver class lead. Looking quite comfortable, especially when you see another driver like Pranata there make a mistake. That does put Haris Shami up to 6th position. The Malaysian in the gold class, been a bit quiet this race. Have not seen, as he locks up. Big lock up there. Amon, in a set of courses, does it simulate flat spots?
Yes, it does. Very big flat spots. In fact, you can actually feel it through the tire, through your steering wheel. If it's really bad flat spots, it shakes your wheel to the core. Well, so you wouldn't want that.
Well, we're looking at Harris in the insert right now in the bottom right. The wheel does not look like it's shaking too badly down the straights of this. It's shaking plenty in the corners. I'm sure he's got a small flat spot there from that lock up of the Bati.
Yeah, they do. They do have it. Anyhow, Shami Harris then, Zephy Race still, I think he's P4 in class in fact. P5. Yeah, P5 in gold, so he wouldn't mind too much about that. He just wants to get this race cleared away so that he could start further up in race number 2.
All right, behind him, Francis Andrew Gonzalez also trying to recover. Oh, he's side by side with Vishnu. And looks like Vishnu overtakes him on the outside. Nice move there. It's Francis on set right now. He's got an interesting camera angle.
Different to what he normally runs, actually, to be honest.
It is.
And for once, he's actually wearing a long sleeve shirt because he normally wears a singlet while he drives. Probably he feels very hot while he's in the wheel.
Yeah.
Big lock up there. These cars need to lock up, not gonna lie. When I drove these cars to win the championship in SRA, everyone locks up all the time. It's just the kind of thing you see back in the day as well, because the tires don't go out as fast compared to the Pirellis now. They can actually go for an entire stint, even with slight small flat spots.
That's a good question. Does it simulate the graining though?
It does a bit, I think.
But normally when these tires grain, you can drop off like 3-4 seconds, but then they come back. Do they come back?
Sort of, but only because the fuel actually drops off as well.
Then they don't come back. You just remove the fuel.
Yeah.
Normally when they come back, you can actually come back to within a second of driving that time. So yeah, interesting. We'd love to see that simulated in one of these games one day.
Yep. If we have, classic retro F1 games. But enough of that. Up in front, Demaria Hasnam has overtaken Roy Ripper. We've unfortunately missed that one. But Demaria Hasnam with a great recovery drive to get back up in front after what looked like was a daunting situation at first where he dropped it twice and looked like he was far away from home, but now he's almost home free.
Yeah. Nicely done there, the Indonesian. Showing some great speed.
Oh, and he's fanning himself. He has the time to take up and fan himself. One of the most odd things I've seen so far. We had so many oddities seen in the GP, but probably that takes the cake.
Yeah, he's smiling as well. He's probably listening to us as well.
Well, we have Keith Moe simulating the win by putting a fan in front of his head. This one's a bit more of a low-tech approach and probably a bit more effort.
Yeah, looks like he's got a really nice setup there, wherever he's at.
And he's waving. Yes, he's listening to us.
He's
He
definitely
is,
listening.
he is definitely listening to us. So the Mario then probably is having a kick out of the fact that his low-tech cooling technique is now caught on camera for the rest of everyone else to see.
I'm sure he's got aircon on there as well, because probably needs to keep his PC cool.
Yeah, and luckily he was also cool under pressure
Oh.
after the big incident. As we see by the looks of it as Nabil Jalil probably backing off. Yep, stopped it completely. That's probably the 20-second penalty that he's got.
Either that or something's happened. Roy Ripper there in second. Sudhakar there in P3. We have no videos from him, so we can't really see how he's going. But comfortably P3 right now at the moment, although there's a big gap to the top two. And
Yeah,
let's
there.
see, there he is.
With a proper wheel this time. And it looks as though it's a G29. You can tell by the big knob on the bottom right there, that's a G29 there.
We're glad to see he's got a wheel right now. He's got Balagulan there in P4, so not totally comfortable. It looks like Balagulan's actually starting to close that gap ever so slightly. But there are the top four in the Go class right now. Keith Moe is further behind in 5th position. There he is. With Vishnu closing down the gap now.
Yeah, but he wouldn't mind too much because he is in the different class, so Keith can just let that guy through. It doesn't really matter anyway. He would love to just take this silver class win and put his championship back on track.
Yeah, that's going to be very key for Keith. If I could just say, he doesn't need to fight Vishnu. He just needs to let him go by, because we've already seen that Vishnu's been quite impatient so far, and nothing worse than getting taken out by an impatient driver who's not even in your class.
Yep, and we saw there already how that put paid to Calvin Powell's chances of winning the silver class. We had the silver class win silver class lead swap hands quite a few times, but that's a completely different story. The story at the front though is the Mario Hasnam coming back to win it, and he won it clutch to come across the line here. He's weaving across the line, Fernando Alonso 2007 style, but he wins it here in Imola race 1 to extend his championship lead up in front. Roy Ripper crosses the line in 2.8 seconds behind. They're going to line up side by side here. I think they had a good battle, but unfortunately Roy had to concede the fact that Hasnam was just the faster of the two on the day. Sudhakar comes across the line, holds on for P3 by just 5/10 in front of Aldo Balagulan. And Keith Moe, we can raise our hands here, wins in silver. So he will be delighted for that one. And he looks happy. He knows it. He knows that among the guys that race in silver, he's the one that crossed the line for us.
Oh, he's super happy. Well done, little Mo. Very good job there. There's a hand there, Rick there.
I think
obviously congratulating his son.
I think he probably heard us saying that we need to give hands to Keith, so Keith gave himself some hands.
Yeah, it was a very good clapping hands. Okay, that's race 1 of the Go class done as the last 3 drivers cross the finish line. We should go for a quick break actually. Let's just come back to. And anyway, we're coming back in with race 2 in just a moment, right after race 1.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Hi, welcome back. This is Global Edition 12. We're on our final race of the weekend, or the evening, shall we say. We've had the copper class, we've had the bronze class, and now we've got the silver and golds racing together. We saw race 1. Hasnan won the gold class, Keith Moe won silver, and now it's a reverse grid race. So just to make it interesting, the top 10 get reversed, and we actually got Jesmine Tan starting in pole, don't we?
Yep. And beside him, it says Aldo Balagulan, but it looks like Calvin Power, to be honest, because it is the rental car right beside. So I think it's Balagulan in pole position, then Calvin beside him.
Not the biggest of grids we've had in the gold and silver class, but it's still a good grid. We are at Imola, driving these 2008 Formula 1 cars.
Yep. 2007 cars with a circuit that they didn't race on for real, but anachronistically you might say it could have happened anyway if Imola was back on the calendar by then. Now then, 5 seconds left to go here. Lights come on the gantry, and when they go out, we'll be underway for the final time this evening. The gold and silver cars, race number 2. We are underway, and it looks as though Calvin Pao may have had a bit of a shocking start compared to, well, it is Jesmine Tan actually, it's not Balagulan. So Jesmine actually got off to a better start up in front, goes into turn 1, gets the whole shot. Everyone looks as though we are safely clear here. Yes, we actually get everyone through this time. Now on the gravel trap, Alex.
Yeah, we're riding on board with Kelvin Power right now, P2. And the 2 silver class guys are in front, but they're getting some big pressure now from Vishnu in the gold class there in P3.
Yeah, Vishnu being the gold guy here, so they're going to have to watch out after this as we come up now to Peritella for the first time. We're almost halfway through the lap here. And feels a bit sprung out, and Keith Moe has been overtaken by Balagulan further behind. So it looks as though we have a bit of chopping and changing here. Not too bad. Oh, in fact, we have had a bit of an incident, I think, because it looks as though Keith Moe has been involved. Yes, he is. So Keith's been out. Roy is also even worse. He's actually further behind. So that's kind of to be expected. We have a mixed class as we're now coming up to the end of the lap here. We are ready to see whether or not the gold guys can make a maneuver here. So, Vishnu then, around the outside of Calvin Pao. Oh, there's a touch! Side by side, Calvin Pao again has been taken out into the gravel trap, and Vishnu is off into the barriers. Well, that's not a way that you want to actually start a second race after being involved again. Rivaza too has claimed him once again.
Okay, Vishnu there in P10. Lots of interesting injuries or crashes we've seen this evening. And here in round 1, sorry, lap 1.
Oh!
Vishnu gets taken out again.
Oh, that's a real shame, doesn't it? Because he hasn't had rub the green, and once again, it's just absolute mayhem for him. He just couldn't avoid it, and he's been the victim of circumstances. But either way, we're back up in front with Alia Wafiq Prenata then chasing up to the back of Hari Shami, and these are both in the gold class, so it's a battle among themselves here for the lead in gold with Jesmine Tan up in front.
Prenata there just got a bit of a gap right now. Well, just behind Harishami, who's got a bit of a gap to the leader. Desmond Tunn's doing a really good job, just driving smoothly away at the front. Looking really good for silver class, but also none of the goals really coming through the field at the moment. Everyone's been a bit careful at the moment.
Yeah, that's a quite a good thing happening because you normally have quite a lot of drivers having incidents when they try to go through the slower class. But in this case, it's been more or less nip and tuck. I think further behind may have been a big one between Roy, Rip, and Keemo. But regardless, we're going to see him battle for the lead here in gold class. Priyanatha goes around the outside and takes second place overall, but first in the gold class with Balagulan. Then Oral also cuts across big time, trying to take away second place, and he does. So he immediately takes he takes one position away from Harishami. Harishami loses 2 in one go.
Okay, Balagulan then up to P3 right now. And he's looking some good pace right now. He's going to close down the gap to Priyanatha quite quickly, I feel.
Yeah, in fact, Priyanatha may be just holding on the back, holding off his actual true pace right now. But 3.5 seconds may be big. It can be edge catchable if the guy in front makes a mistake. We saw that already. What happened to the Mario Hasnam when he actually dropped it coming out of the lead 1.1 seconds ahead at that point. So it can still be claimable here.
Okay, look at that. Balagulan getting very close to Ravata. Slows down the car nice. Priyanatha with a small lockup. This is the trick that will Balagulan get the exit he wants? Not really. Priyanatha with a nice exit out of Ravata. And holds on to second place.
Yep. For the time being at least, because you can feel that Balagulan has the speed as Suduka goes around the outside. Oh, that's a touch. That was a big one there. And luckily, Suduka manages to get around the outside of Shami, but he loses the position to Shami and now Hasnam. That was a massive hit, but luckily they managed to get it under control before coming into the first corner.
The big question now is whether Harris, look at that, locks up as well. Suduka looks like he's losing more positions as he goes to Tosa.
In fact, Hasnam actually getting a poor drive coming out of Tosa, so the inside line bit didn't work out for him. Outside he goes, side by side. We saw this already in bronze, how that turned out is not well, but Hasnam is not like Jusmin. He actually does hold it on the outside, just keeps his racing line and takes away the position eventually from Suduka.
Kelvin Powell looking down the inside as well. Ooh, nice, down the inside.
That is not really what you want to do, isn't it? Very nip and tuck. You normally don't see 2 cars coming through Variante Alta, but they made it through cleanly at the expense of losing a bit of time to the guys in front.
There we go, Hasnam's cleared a lot of traffic now, up to P4. This is the man on form at the moment, and he's going to close in on those go-cars very quickly.
And Hasnam again going for the low-tech move of fanning himself on the start-finish straight, probably giving himself a bit of a simulation to get some win. As Danish Aram now is out of the race, along with Nabil Jalil. So 2 drivers out in succession. That is very unfortunate, probably due to the effects of having collisions at the end of the first lap. But outside of our cameras then, focusing outside of that particular topic, we're kind of focused back on to the battle for P2 overall and the win in gold between Balagulan and Priyanatha.
Quite surprising. I thought Balagulan would get past Priyanatha relatively quickly, but he's been stuck behind Priyanatha for a few laps now.
Yeah, in fact, Priyanatha's probably not pushing as hard as Balagulan, but he manages to still keep tabs with Jasmine tied in front. In fact, there's Jasmine now, and still Balagulan has no way through. So really then, it's a case of probably Balagulan's just, well, we're not saying watching his tires, but he's probably just biding his time here.
I wonder if he is biding his time. I think he's impatient to get through, to be honest. Seen a couple of guys fishtailed out of these corners, so still have to be careful. There's a lot of power underneath the right foot here, and if they light up the rear tires too quickly, they're going to wear them out very quickly.
Yeah, 850 plus horsepower is still in these cars, you know, so they do have the benefit of traction control to be used, of course, so they do not have to really go completely relying on the right foot to actually control the car. Traction control is still available. It's just that they have no ABS, so that's why we see plenty of lockups here. There we go. It's in point. Prenata locks it up big time. So locking up is just quite a common thing in the cars in this era.
Question is, I mean, do you whack on the traction control to look after the tires, but although even it might compromise your exit, or do you prefer to take off the traction control?
There's an in between because there's 10 modes of traction control in this. So I normally, personally, I just go between 5 or 6 because at least I didn't really slide the cars often. So it does come a bit of a compromise. I have to get back on the front as soon as possible so that it doesn't lose momentum, but not so much that it causes a spin. So it's that in between where you just grab the apex, the car just locks it out.
Right.
It's just my way of saying it's like the car, I just know how to really lean a bit more on the traction control to get most of the car.
Prenata's actually taking a lot of curb at the exit of Ravazza. Seemed to work in the previous laps, but maybe not so good this time. Doesn't seem to have got the exit he normally does, and Balagulan looks like he's closed down that gap ever so slightly.
Yeah, but they're probably looking to get it out to just lean in Jasmine time because Jasmine's only 2.1 seconds ahead of Prenata. So Balagulan's probably just it probably proves the point about biding his time. He looks a bit antsy right now, but he probably is just trying to think a bit more of the long run because there's still about 6 minutes left to go. And if anything we've seen in ERGP, the final 5 minutes are often the most frantic.
Yeah, and Prenata locks up again, so Balagulan gets even closer now. Not going to overtake through Curatella. Oh, but there is a bit of wash there, and Balagulan slips back.
Yeah, not so much, but it is slightly present. It's not as omnipresent compared to something like R Factor 2 where you can feel the dirt here in the Formula car. But in this case, just a bit.
Yeah, it makes me think like it is a bit. Oh, there he goes again, making errors. How it is a little bit tricky to follow. Maybe he's unsighted. Maybe it's a bit of the front aero rush. But it makes me think that Haslam got through that race win because Roy Ripper must have made a mistake. Because Ripper had a gap, and then all of a sudden Haslam was through.
Yeah, it's just how the cookie crumble in that regard. Probably he was pressured big time. It just went off slightly. But the gap in the end wasn't that big. It was probably just 1 to 2 seconds anyway. So if Roy probably kept that 1 second gap or even half a second gap in front, he probably would have fought tooth and nail for it. But regardless of that, in the second race, Hasnam is well ahead of Ripperit by about 9 seconds. So he's still stuck behind Hari Shami in that regard. So Shami then is just waiting for the inevitable, I guess, for Roy Ripperit to come as around the outside goes Hasnam. Hasnam is trying to move around the outside, coming through Tosa against Balagulan. So it's now a three-way fight for the win in goal with a silver guy leading overall.
Wow, that silver guy is doing a great job. We have to take our hats off to Jasmine Tan as we see this battle for second position hotting up. But Jasmine Tan, there he is at the bottom of your screen now. Is doing a fantastic job in that McLaren.
Indeed.
Really, very impressed. This is the bronze class winner from the previous Global Edition. He's showing that he's no flash in the pan.
Absolutely, and we saw how in the very first race in Global Edition 11, where he was in the copper class, he was impressive that time. We thought he was too fast for the copper class, so he went up to bronze, and he was still impressive. Went all the way.
Yeah, very impressive. Yes, definitely a driver to watch out for the future. And look, we're watching about this battle for second position now. And Prenata there holding on. But Hasnam, though, really putting the pressure on Balagulan there in third position overall.
Yep, and this is on board now with Hasnam inside the Ferrari then.
Let's see if it's an aero wash.
Sound of it.
He's doing a really good job. Haslam, I've been very impressed with him. First time we watched him was in Endurance Edition. Round 2, where they won in the new Ferrari. And he's showing that he's got the skills in other games. And that's always a good sign of a good driver, isn't it, Amo? When you see them do so well across different platforms.
Yep, they show that they're not one trick pony. They really know how to maximize the most out of multiple games. And look at that. How easy he can take it out of the motors as Jasmine gets a big lockup. That's going to bring these guys in front of Haslam back into play. And we're going to have a four-way fight for the win. So, Haslam then might be lining himself up for a double. Prenata wants to aim for his first win. Balagulan wants to get the first win in a while. Oh, Prenata spins out of it, and they actually collect each other. And Haslam goes around the outside. He actually might take the win in goal. Yes, he does. Oh wow, Jasmine got a lucky break there because Priyanatha had a big slide. And again, just as I mentioned, waxing lyrical about a driver about to win, Priyanatha drops it right in front of us.
Wow, how lucky is Hasnam? He won race 1 after Roy Ripperib made a mistake. And then a mistake through the guys in gold has again allowed him. Oh, but it's not over yet. Jasmine Balagulan tries to fight back, but actually is very polite there.
Yeah.
Allows Hasnam through.
Yeah, Balagulan really gave a lot of space there. You might say that he could have actually held the line and just backed off so that he could literally hang Hasnam out to dry, but he really gave a lot of respect for him. And now it just opened up the gap back up to 4 seconds. Priyanatha manages to keep on to P3 in the gold class, but look, that was just pressure, wasn't it? It just crumbled at the worst possible time.
Yes, it did. Well, I'm going to have to say that Hasnam really, assuming he can finish that position, has this championship won, really, hasn't he?
Yeah. Also have to Harishami there, but regardless, he's dropped a couple of positions behind Sai Prithvi Sudhakar and Roy Rip as we are now going to watch Mario Hasnam come through then to the penultimate lap. He's still chasing. In fact, Jasmine may have made another mistake because the gap was 4 seconds, now it's 1.7. Across the line, we have 2 more laps to go then. So, Jasmine Time, what say you now? What can you do here in the final 2 laps? Can he really hold on to this? Or will Demario Hasnam actually reel him in and we get a barnstorming finish among the 2 classes?
Yeah, Hasnam will not want to sit there. He wants to try and win overall. He will not be happy. Oh, as Jasmine Tan goes over, and his job is made easy again.
And again, wow. Jasmine though really is not going to give up that fight. We're on board now with Demario Hasnam and Balagulan again. He was playing it patiently previously. He could have probably struck when he had a chance, but just as the moment where you thought he was going to get it, Priyanatha spins in front of him and he had to back it off to give Demario Hasnam the way. Now he's probably going to try to play it cool again. By this time, even though it's only about less than a minute left to go here, if anything would happen to these two. Hasnam goes on the inside, coming onto Varandi Alta, and he gets held up big time, and because of that, he has actually brought Aldo Balagulan back into play. Now it's Balagulan's turn to actually try and strike.
I have to say, the driving is been interesting, hasn't it, this round in the gold and silver class.
Yes, indeed. And in this era, no DRS, so the F1 cars had to use the old-fashioned slipstream and overtake. But Hasnam, though, it looks as though he may have gotten the run across the line. Oh, that's actually finished. Wow! Jasmine Tan played it nicely there, and that was a photo finish between Jasmine Tan and Mario Hasnam. 700ths of a second separating them, but Hasnam takes the win in gold. He gets yet another double. Jasmine Tan wins in silver. Oh my word, what a finish. And I think we might finally get to speak with the man who's been dominating ERGP races for the last 3 rounds.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a chance to speak to him in just one moment.
Yep, apologies for the slight technical difficulties behind the scenes, but we will probably get Demario Hasnam on board now. As can we get to hear him? Demario, can you hear us? Oh, I think he forgot to probably unmute.
See if he can hear us. Yeah, he can hear us now. Here we unmuting.
Yep. Oh, Demario actually has switched off his camera, unfortunately, so we probably cannot get him on board right now. But let's see who else can get him in the time being.
Well, let's talk to Jasmine Tan, but Jasmine Tan is not on Zoom, so we cannot find him, unfortunately. Let's see, Balagulan's not there either. Let's see who else we find.
Well, we have Keith, but Keith probably is only happy to talk about race number 1. But either way.
Well, either way. Good evening of racing here on Friday night. Thanks very much for joining us. Those are all the classes done. Gold and silver are done. We've watched copper, watched bronze. Some really good racing, especially in bronze class. Really enjoyed bronze class. That's my favorite class. But that's all we have for tonight. Round 2 of 4 of Global Edition 12. My name's Alex Young. With me, Amar Hazik. Anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
Well, can't wait for the next one, I guess.
Yes, the next one, which is next week. We'll see you there.